Get 9 goddess sisters at the beginning. Being chased by a psychopath at the beginning. The vast horizon is my love. At the gate of a mid-range community, Jiang Yang was carrying a bunch of vegetables and was about to go home to cook for his wife. As a result, he saw a masked man wearing a psychopath's uniform suddenly rushing out from the corner in front of him, running towards him at the speed of a 100-meter sprint. Fuck. Bang. Before Jiang Yang could dodge, he was caught by the neck by the psychopath and slammed against the cold wall. Tell me, are you Jiang Yang? The psychopath said viciously. Jiang Yang was knocked unconscious and felt sad. It's over. It's not illegal for a psychopath to kill. Who are you, psychopath? Jiang Yang shook his head and frowned. The psychopath sneered and pulled off the mask, revealing a sharp face perfectly. Jiang Yang was stunned for a moment and stared at him blankly. Because this man looked exactly like him. Except for the messy hairstyle and the conspicuous mental patient uniform. Other places are just like each other. The mental patient is actually me. How dare you call me a mental patient? The mental patient was furious, raised his hands and slapped Jiang Yang on the face. Par, how dare you scold me? Jiang Yang's eyes were full of stars, and he gritted his teeth. Damn it. If it weren't for the fact that my 3-year term had not yet expired, how could I let a rat like you run wild? The mental patient grabbed Jiang Yang's collar fiercely. Weakling, listen. I am your long-lost twin brother. What? My brother? Jiang Yang was shocked. The mental patient gritted his teeth and said, when I was just 2 months old, there was a fire in our house. Afterwards, you were sent to an orphanage, and I was picked up by an old man in the mountains. Jiang Yang opened his mouth wide, stunned. I always heard the old director of the orphanage say that he had a brother, but I didn't expect it to be true. Besides, after the fire, everyone thought he died with his parents, but he was still alive. You're not dead. Jiang Yang was surprised and happy. Not dead. But life is worse than death. The mental patient gritted his teeth and said, you've lived a good life these years. You've never had to worry about food and drink in the orphanage since you were a child. When you grow up, you can live in such a good community and marry a beautiful woman as your wife. Do you know what I've been through these years? Do you know how that old man treats me? Jiang Yang was shocked. Does that old man have any special hobbies? That old man actually asked me to sing Pleasant Goat and Big Wolf for him every day. The mental patient looked horrified. If that's the only way, I can still bear it, but he found me 6 senior sisters from nowhere. No. It should be said that it's 6 female demons. Do you know how these female demons abused me since I was a child? Why? Jiang Yang swallowed his saliva. But the mental patient seemed to think of some unbearable past events, and collapsed all of a sudden. Let's not talk about the past. Anyway, I've had enough of this kind of life. Over the years, I have sneaked down the mountain more than once, but I was always caught by them every month or every day. Fortunately, half a year ago, I had an idea and hid in the mental hospital, so I enjoyed half a year of peace. The days in the mental hospital were the happiest time of my life. The mental patient looked happy. Then, he became ferocious again. But, the good times didn't last long. Just yesterday, those female demons came again. I almost collapsed. Why? Why can you live such an ordinary and happy life? And I can only live a life ravaged by female demons. This is unfair. So now, it's your turn to bear all this for me. What do you mean? Jiang Yang was puzzled. The psychopath had a cruel look on his face and grabbed Jiang Yang's collar fiercely. From now on, you will pretend to be me. We look exactly the same. The old man and those female demons will definitely not be able to recognize us. So from now on, you are the junior brother who sneaked down the mountain. You will bear all this for me. Chapter 2, The Strange Wife. Why? Jiang Yang exclaimed in shock. The mentally unstable man sneered coldly. It's useless for you to refuse. I'm going to leak your whereabouts to those women today. They don't know I'm a twin. The old man never told them. So, when they catch you, even if you deny it, they won't believe you. Even if you provide evidence to prove your identity, they won't believe it, because I forged evidence before. We're brothers. How could you betray me like this? Jiang Yang sucked in a cold breath. Exactly because we're brothers, you should take the burden for me. The mentally unstable man gripped Jiang Yang's hand tightly, playing the emotional card with a serious expression. Bro, don't worry. I just want to enjoy 2 years of peace outside. After 2 years, I'll come back. Bro, please help me. If you don't help me, I'll have no choice but to end it all. The word bro struck Jiang Yang's heart deeply. It seemed like something inside him was touched. Is this the feeling of family? Alright. Since you called me bro, I won't let you down. Jiang Yang's brain suddenly heated up, and he grabbed the mentally unstable man, who was about to bash his head against the wall to commit suicide. He raised his head and said with firm determination, "Wherever you want to go, go ahead. I'll stay here and take care of things for you. Bro, you're the best." The mentally unstable man shouted with excitement. "This is my phone. It has the information I prepared for you. You must look at it carefully and make sure you don't slip up." He threw a broken phone with a shattered screen to Jiang Yang. Har har har. I'm finally free. I'm going to the Sahara Desert to see the sea. I'm going to fish for the moon. Immediately, the mentally unstable man raised his arms and let out a strange laugh, strutting away. Watching his crazy retreating figure, Jiang Yang stood frozen in place. What? Did I act too impulsively? Suddenly, I feel like I've been tricked. But never mind, maybe this brother of mine is a real mentally unstable person. Maybe everything just now was made up by him. He stuffed the broken phone into his pocket and rushed home. Inside a 3-bedroom apartment. On a soft sofa, a woman in a silk nightgown crossed her snow-white legs and was playing with her phone, her fingers polished with red nail polish. Why are you so slow to come back? Seeing Jiang Yang enter, she threw her phone aside, her face full of impatience. Sorry, there was a bit of an accident on the road. Jiang Yang gently closed the door and spoke meekly. The woman looked at him with disdain and waved her hand. Enough with the excuses. Are you even a man? I used to think you were somewhat competent, but now, the more I look at you, the more disgusting your face becomes. Jiang Yang lowered his head, silent. The beautiful woman in front of him was his wife, Xu Qingqing. They had been married for a year. At that time, Jiang Yang was still a supervisor at a small company. Xu Qingqing, who had graduated from a second-rate university, was completely subservient to him. But after Xu Qingqing visited his company, she came back a bit off. Her attitude grew more distant and eventually turned into hitting and scolding him. Jiang Yang had even had an argument with her once, and out of nowhere, his company demoted him to a regular employee. He still couldn't figure out why. Xu Qingqing stood up from the sofa, a fragrant breeze following her. Enough. You eat by yourself. I'm not eating here anymore. But I've already bought the ingredients. Jiang Yang frowned. Xu Qingqing looked at him with disgust. Didn't you hear me? I'm not repeating myself. She slammed the door and went to her room to change clothes. When she came out again, she was wearing a very sexy bodycon dress, and her long, beautiful legs were clad in black stockings. The tempting scent of her perfume seemed to hypnotize anyone nearby, making her look like a seductress. But Jiang Yang froze. Because he vaguely saw what looked like a condom in her handbag. Where are you going? Jiang Yang subconsciously asked. None of your business. Xu Qingqing glared at him with disdain. Have you thought about what I asked you? A few days ago, Xu Qingqing had told Jiang Yang that her family urgently needed money and asked him to sell their house to help out. Jiang Yang couldn't make up his mind. After all, this house was bought with his savings from half his life and the old dean's hard work. I'll think about it some more. Jiang Yang mumbled. You're so indecisive, like a woman. Do you even deserve to be a man? Xu Qingqing sneered and slammed the door on her way out. After she left, Jiang Yang sat on the sofa, still smelling her perfume, deep in thought. Just now, when Xu Qingqing passed by, he clearly saw that it was a condom. Why would she take something like that out with her? Could it be she's cheating on me? No. She's not that kind of person. But not long after, a phone call slapped him hard in the face. Chapter 3, Betrayal. Sis brother-in-law, where are you? It was Xu Qingqing's younger sister, Xu Xinshan. I'm at home, what's up? Jiang Yang asked, confused. Xu Xinshan, sounding frantic, replied, brother-in-law, you need to come to the hotel right now. I think I just saw my sister with some strange man going into a hotel room. Xu Xinshan was a university student, currently working a summer job at a hotel. Perhaps because she hadn't yet been exposed to the harsh realities of the world, she still held a strong sense of justice. Jiang Yang was stunned for a moment, his face filled with complexity. Shinshin, you must be mistaken. How could your sister be with someone else at a hotel? Brother-in-law, I'm serious. Shu Shinshin interrupted, I really think I saw her. She was wearing a black dress. Jiang Yang quickly cut her off with a forced smile. Shinshin, you must have seen it wrong. Without waiting for Shu Shinshin to respond, he hung up the phone. But as soon as the call ended, it felt as though all the strength had been drained from Jiang Yang's body. He collapsed onto the sofa, dizzy and disoriented. He knew very well that Shu Shinshin and her sister had lived together for over 20 years. There was no way she could mistake someone else for her own sister. Recalling everything that had happened today, Jiang Yang finally realized that he had been betrayed by this woman. At the Tianshui Hotel, on a memory foam bed, Shu Qingqing was nestled in the arms of a fat man, her cheeks still flushed from recent activity. Boss Qian, what if that useless guy doesn't agree to sell the house? The money's already waiting for him to sign, and then we'll be together. The house was jointly owned by the couple, and both parties had to agree for a sale to go through. Qian Wei kissed her white swan-like neck, his expression lecherous. That house should be worth at least $1 million. If you take all the money, he'll be left with nothing. You really want to do that to him after everything? You're not really that heartless, are you? HMPH. I've been taking care of that useless man, with no money and no power, for a whole year. What's wrong with demanding $1 million from him? Is that too much? Shu Qingqing snorted, then added in a more coquettish tone, Boss Qian, you'd better think of a way to handle this quickly. Qian Wei squinted his eyes. A solution? Simple. Tonight, you go back and ask him one last time. If he still refuses to sell, tomorrow I'll have someone break his legs first, then force him to sign the papers. Boss Qian. I knew you were far more capable than that useless man. Shu Qingqing eagerly climbed onto Qian Wei. Later that night, Shu Qingqing returned home in high heels, instantly transforming back into her cold, indifferent self. Seeing Jiang Yang sitting on the sofa with a grim expression, she couldn't help but show her disdain. Always walking around with a face like a sour melon, as if someone died in the house. Just seeing you makes me irritated. Jiang Yang scanned her up and down, noticing that the stockings she had been wearing earlier were missing. Where have you been? Jiang Yang asked in a deep voice. What is it to you? Shu Qingqing nonchalantly sat across from him, casually tossing her handbag aside and crossing her legs. Jiang Yang, I'll ask you one last time, are you selling the house or not? Smelling the expensive perfume on her, Jiang Yang remained silent for a moment before responding, then I'll ask you one last time, where did you go today? Where I go is none of your business, you useless man. Shu Qingqing glared at him with disgust, showing no remorse for her betrayal. Not my business, huh? Fine. Let me make it clear, I bought this house with my own money, and I will never sell it, Jiang Yang suddenly sneered. He was a normal man. Shu Qingqing had betrayed him, and there was no way he could forgive her for it. Upon hearing this, Shu Qingqing immediately became furious. She grabbed the water cup on the coffee table and smashed it on the floor. Fine. Jiang Yang, you've got some guts. Since you want to listen to me, don't blame me for being ruthless. Watching Shu Qingqing storm off to her room, Jiang Yang felt no emotion at all. To him, it was only a matter of time before he and Shu Qingqing would go their separate ways. The next day, Jiang Yang went to work as usual. The company was not large, with only about 100 employees. But in the small city of Jianghai, it could be considered a medium-sized enterprise. His boss, Qian Wei, was a prominent figure in Jianghai. At that moment, Jiang Yang was sitting at his desk, working as usual when he suddenly heard someone calling his name, Jiang Yang, come here for a moment. He looked up and saw the familiar fat figure of his boss, Qian Wei, standing not far away. Although confused, Jiang Yang knew that when his boss called, he had to respond. He put down his work and walked over. Following Qian Wei, he entered an office. The small office was now crowded with 7 or 8 men, all of them big and burly, covered in tattoos. Qian Wei sat back in his boss's chair, wearing a half-smile as he looked at Jiang Yang. Chapter 4 Anger. Being stared at by so many unfriendly eyes, Jiang Yang felt a little uncomfortable. He opened his mouth and said, "Boss, you are looking for me." Bang! But before Jiang Yang could finish his words, he was suddenly hit hard on the back of his head. Jiang Yang was caught off guard. The huge impact force caused him to fall flat on his face. He subconsciously touched the back of his head and found his hands covered in blood. Boss Qian, what are you doing? Jiang Yang endured the dizziness and looked at Qian Wei with shifty eyes in front of him and the murderous thugs holding steel pipes around him with blurry vision. What are you doing? Jiang Yang, you bullied my woman and you still ask me why. Qian Wei had a ruthless look on his face. He slowly walked to his side, squatted down, and grabbed his hair fiercely. Your woman? Boss Qian. Did you misunderstand? How could I bully your woman? I don't even know who she is. Jiang Yang raised his head and endured the severe pain in the back of his head. HMPH. You don't know her? Well, today I'll let you see who my woman is. Qian Wei suddenly pointed at the gangsters. Several thugs, as if receiving an order, made way for them like a tide. Then, a charming and enchanting woman, wearing red high heels and swaying her slender waist, walked over. Boom! At this moment, Jiang Yang's head almost exploded. Because the so-called woman Qian Wei mentioned was actually Xu Qingqing. At this moment, no matter how dumb Jiang Yang was, he understood that the person Xu Qingqing had an affair with was her boss Qian Wei. What's wrong, my dear husband, are you surprised to see me here? Xu Qingqing hugged Qian Wei's arm with a teasing look in her eyes. Adulterer and whore. Jiang Yang's blood boiled and he cursed loudly. Xu Qingqing smiled instead of getting angry. Whatever you say, you have to sign the contract to sell the house to me today. Xu Qingqing threw a contract next to Jiang Yang's head. Impossible. Jiang Yang gritted his teeth. Xu Qingqing, give up on this idea. This house is mine, I will never sell it. If you don't accept my toast, you'll be punished. Xu Qingqing's face changed. She stepped on Jiang Yang's chest with her 20-centimeter long heel and twisted it violently. I'll ask you again, are you going to sell the house? No sale. Jiang Yang looked painful, but still refused to give in. The house was bought with his half-life savings and the hard work of the old director of the orphanage. There was no way he would just give it to Xu Qingqing. Beat him? Beat him until he sells himself. Xu Qingqing sneered and gave the order again. Several thugs immediately rushed towards Jiang Yang and started punching and kicking him. In a short while, Jiang Yang was beaten until he was covered in blood, and there was not a single piece of healthy flesh on his body. Sign it or not? Xu Qingqing said viciously, without any mercy at all. No. Sign. Jiang Yang felt dizzy but still insisted. You? Whether it was Xu Qingqing or Qian Wei and others, they were all angered by Jiang Yang. They didn't expect that this piece of trash would be so stubborn. Okay. Jiang Yang, you can do it. I wanted to be gentle with you for the sake of our relationship as husband and wife. But since you are so ungrateful, don't blame me for being cruel. Xu Qingqing's face was full of anger, and her slender jade fingers were shaking. Qiangzi. Qian Wei also called out. A bold man responded and stepped forward. Break his arms and legs. Since he refuses to sign, I'll have someone hold his hand and sign for him. Qian Wei looked at Jiang Yang with a ferocious look on his face. Chapter 5, Domineering Sister. When Jiang Yang heard this, he finally started to panic. He didn't expect that Qian Wei and others would be so bold. Qian Wei. How dare you? You are breaking the law. Jiang Yang was panicked. Qian Wei laughed loudly. I'm sorry, this world talks with money. A poor guy like you is just a dog. Who would care if the dog died? As soon as he finished speaking, their whole office burst into laughter. Qian Wei slapped Xu Qingqing's hips hard in front of Jiang Yang again. Little bitch, the scene later may be a bit violent, so don't watch it. Go to their hotel next door first. When I finish my work here, I will let you have fun. Jiang Yang's eyes were red with anger, and a deep feeling of humiliation surged into his heart. In the office, other people also looked at Jiang Yang with contempt and sympathy. Hateful. Xu Qingqing smiled shyly, then looked at Jiang Yang with disgust, turned around and left the office. Okay. Now it's time to talk about our business. Qian Wei looked at Jiang Yang. Xiangzi, don't waste time on such a small person, solve it quickly. I will invite you to a good place in the evening, which will be full of schoolgirls. Okay, Mr. Qian. Qiangzi's eyes flashed. He raised the steel pipe in his hand and smashed it hard at Jiang Yang's arm. Crack. R. Jiang Yang roared in pain, and his entire arm suddenly twisted in a strange posture. The severe pain almost made him faint. Let him sign first. Qian Wei showed no mercy. Jiangzi grabbed Jiang Yang's wrist and forced his hand to sign the contract. Qian Wei picked up the contract and said condescendingly, "Okay, Jiangzi, break his limbs and throw him out." Jiangzi didn't hesitate at all and used the steel pipe to hit other parts of Jiang Yang again. Finished. It's all over. Jiang Yang was filled with despair. After today, he will become a laughingstock. But at this moment, the office door was kicked open with a bang. A pleasant but extremely cold voice came, "You dare to touch my people." Everyone stopped instantly and looked up. I saw a group of people appearing outside the door. They all wore suits and sunglasses, and the team was neat and tidy. The most conspicuous one among them is the woman in the front. The woman had an outstanding temperament, fair skin and beautiful looks. Her black hair was piled up high, revealing her white swan neck. Her cold phoenix eyes gave people an indifference that kept people at a distance. A Tiffany blue hip skirt fully reveals her almost perfect figure, making her look like a cool and beautiful queen. Compared with the beautiful Xu Qingqing, there is a huge gap between them. No matter in temperament or appearance, she is far better than him. Everyone was almost drooling over what they saw. Even the disheveled Jiang Yang couldn't help but secretly glance at her, feeling that she looked familiar. Unexpectedly, Qin Yuran happened to look at him, and the two of them looked into each other's eyes. Looking at the bloodstained Jiang Yang, Qin Yuran frowned instantly. "Brother. How are you? Younger brother?" Jiang Yang was confused. Was she calling him? At this time, Qin Yuran finally discovered Qian Wei and the group of thugs holding steel pipes. "You dare to hit him?" Qin Yuran's voice was so cold that the air around them seemed to drop. Boom! Several bodyguards behind her suddenly burst out with terrifying murderous intent. This kind of murderous aura can only be felt by someone who has actually killed someone with his own hands. Qian Wei swallowed his saliva and said, "Beauty, you are mistaken. This idiot is an orphan." "Orphan? Who told you that he is an orphan?" Qin Yuran stepped on white high heels and walked towards Qian Wei step by step. Her powerful aura made Qian Wei and others sweat. "He is my brother, and I am his relative, do you understand?" Chapter 6 Solution. I understand. Qian Wei didn't dare to say anything more. Anyone who goes out with so many bodyguards must be someone who is not easy to mess with. "Then tell me, what should we do if my brother is injured?" Qin Yuran said coldly. Qian Wei quickly said, I will pay the money. Bang! Qin Yuran slapped him hard on the face. "Do I want your money?" Qian Wei covered his red face, not daring to speak angrily. "Then what do you say we should do?" Qin Yuran's eyes were cold as she swept across the crowd. "I've always been reasonable. You just said you wanted to break my brother's limbs, right? Then I'll break your limbs too. It's fair, isn't it?" Qian Wei and others took a deep breath. "Beauty, I am worth tens of millions after all. Cutting off our limbs? Isn't that a bit too much?" Qian Wei gritted his teeth. Even Jiang Yang was shocked. "Yeah, there's no need for this." He didn't know the identity of this beauty, but Qian Wei and Jiangzi were the local bosses in this area and were not to be trifled with. Qin Yuran looked at Jiang Yang, a hint of tenderness in her eyes. "I said, no one can bully you." Seeing her concern without any falseness, Jiang Yang was moved. But if Qian Wei and others are pushed to the edge of a corner, can she handle it? "Don't you think it was too much when you treated my brother like that just now?" Qin Yuran sneered. "Do you want to cut it off by yourselves, or do you want me to help you?" "You?" Qian Wei gritted his teeth. "Beauty, are you sure you want to make things so awkward?" "I'll give you 3 minutes." Qin Yuran said coldly. "Damn it. If I don't show my power, do you really think I'm a soft persimmon?" Qian Wei finally got angry, grabbed the steel pipe and glared at Qin Yuran fiercely. Jiangzi and others were also furious, holding the steel pipes tightly, with cruelty on their faces. They are all well-known figures in Jianghai. If they are really ruined by a woman from another place, how will they survive in the future? Seeing Qian Wei and others who were desperate, Jiang Yang felt a chill in his heart. This was going to be difficult to deal with. Qian Wei pointed a steel pipe at Qin Yuran, with a ferocious look on his face. "Bitch, you still want to cut off our limbs? Today, we brothers will use you to vent our anger." Crack! But before he could finish, he was interrupted by a strange sound. There was actually a pistol in the hands of several bodyguards behind Qin Yuran, directly pointing at Qian Wei. Qian Wei and others' bodies stiffened and they had difficulty swallowing. Bang! The next moment, the steel pipes in their hands fell to the ground, and they raised their hands above their heads, sweating profusely. Even Jiang Yang was dumbfounded. Isn't it illegal for them to carry guns? Can we cut off each of our limbs now? Qin Yuran said calmly. Qian Wei broke out in a cold sweat and gritted his teeth. How dare you carry guns without permission? Believe it or not, I will call the police to arrest you. Oh, would I, Qin Yuran, be afraid that you would call the police? Qin Yuran sneered. Qian Wei immediately took out his cell phone. However, just as he pressed a few numbers, he suddenly started to shudder. Wait, what did this woman just say her name was? Qin Yuran? Qian Wei raised his head suddenly, looked at Qin Yuran carefully for a while, and his mind suddenly exploded. You are Qin Yuran, the big entrepreneur who often appears on TV recently. After Qian Wei's reminder, Jiangzi and others were suddenly awakened and recognized her. Shit! I felt a little familiar just now. Isn't this Qin Yuran who is worth hundreds of billions? It's over. I didn't recognize her at the first sight, and I even offended this deity. Everyone was so frightened that their legs and feet went limp. Qian Wei was trembling even more. You are the Qin Yuran who is worth hundreds of billions. Qin Yuran had a cold expression on her face, not wanting to listen to them at all. She waved her hand and said, drag him out and break his limbs. Amid screams, Qian Wei and others were dragged out of the office. After a moment, Jiang Yang and Qin Yuran were the only ones left in the office. Brother, how are you? Qin Yuran squatted beside Jiang Yang, biting her red lips gently. The coldness on her face disappeared and she became worried. Chapter 7 Second Sister. At this moment Jiang Yang also understood that this woman should be the senior sister that the mentally ill person mentioned. However, she was wearing a hip skirt, and when she squatted down like this. Well, there are safety pants. I'm fine, hiss. Jiang Yang was about to defend himself when his wound suddenly became affected and he gasped in pain. Don't move. Qin Yuran was distressed and tears welled up in her eyes. Come on, I'll take you to heal your wounds. Qin Yuran bent down and tried to carry Jiang Yang on her back. Don't. I'm covered in blood, and I'll dirty your clothes. Jiang Yang was flattered and wanted to push her away. Qin Yuran resolutely carried him on her back. Silly brother, how can your sister still dislike you? Jiang Yang lay on Qin Yuran's soft back. An alluring fragrance rushed into his nostrils, making him feel itchy. He simply couldn't believe that he would have such close contact with a beauty of this level in his life. Let's go home and let your second sister heal you. Qin Yuran said softly. Go home. This strange word. Jiang Yang, who was originally distracted, was stunned for a moment. He had been lonely and helpless since childhood, and no one had ever said such words to him. Although Shu Qingqing and I had a home, that home had nothing but the stench of copper coins. Huh? Why aren't you talking? Qin Yuran asked puzzledly. Jiang Yang woke up from his dream, his nose felt sour. Okay, let's go home. At this moment, he lay on Qin Yuran's back, without any distracting thoughts in his mind. Qingshui Villa Area. This is the most upscale villa area in Jianghai. Qin Yuran is worth hundreds of billions and has residences in almost all major cities. Although this villa in Jianghai is not big, it is very warm. After entering the villa, Qin Yuran took Jiang Yang back to her room and put him on the bed. The bed was very soft, and there was a scent of Qin Yuran on the quilt, which made people think of something else. But Jiang Yang had no interest in enjoying it at all, instead his face was filled with pain. Qian Wei and his men had acted so ruthlessly just now that he felt his body was almost falling apart. Looking at Jiang Yang's painful face, Qin Yuran's charming phoenix eyes moistened again, and her red lips moved. Brother, I'm sorry. It's my fault that I'm late. If I could have arrived earlier today, you wouldn't be injured so seriously. Jiang Yang shook his head. It's okay, this injury is nothing. Just bear with me for a moment, I will ask your second sister to come back and heal you. Qin Yuran made a call. Hello, Xiaojia, where are you now? What's wrong, sister? I'm in the hospital. A gentle voice came from the other end. Different from Qin Yuran's cold and aloof voice, this voice gives people the feeling of a sister next door, like a spring breeze. Xiaojia, come back soon. Something big has happened. Qin Yuran said anxiously. Big deal. Sis, what happened? There's no time to explain, just come back soon. Good. After hanging up the phone, Qin Yuran exhaled and waved her fist at Jiang Yang again. Don't worry, brother. Your second sister is a master of traditional Chinese medicine. You will be fine when she comes. Besides, your second sister has almost lost her appetite for the past 6 months since you left. When she comes, don't talk back to her like you did before. While waiting for Liu Xiaojia, Qin Yuran chatted a lot with Jiang Yang. The main thing is to ask him how he has been doing in the past 6 months. Jiang Yang had already thought of countermeasures for these issues while he was on the road. Anyway, Qin Yuran had no idea how his mentally ill brother had been doing in the past 6 months. Then Jiang Yang simply told her about his life situation in the past 6 months with a slight modification. When Qin Yuran heard the news of Jiang Yang's marriage, she was like a furious kitten. You got married only half a year after coming down the mountain. But I guess they are getting divorced soon. Jiang Yang smiled bitterly. What do you mean? Qin Yuran was stunned. Jiang Yang did not hide anything and told Qin Yuran that Xu Qingqing had betrayed him. He didn't care whether it was shameful or not, since many people knew about it anyway. What? Qin Yuran's pretty face was full of anger. How dare that stinky woman betray my brother? Tell me where her home is, I want someone to teach her a lesson. Forget it, sister, that kind of person is not worth your time. Jiang Yang sighed. Seeing Jiang Yang's sad face, Qin Yuran felt distressed. She stretched out her jade hand and gently touched Jiang Yang's head, with a doting look on her face. Okay, brother, don't be sad. That kind of woman is not worthy of you at all. Besides, it's okay to get divorced. Anyway, you still have sisters. Crack. As the two were talking, the door of the villa was opened with a key. A woman with outstanding temperament appeared at the bedroom door. The woman was born with a standard oval face, with long hair cascading down her shoulders, and a pair of almond-shaped eyes that seemed to have spirit. A simple white sleeveless dress can't hide her curvy figure at all, she looks like a true goddess. Chapter 8, Past Events. Sister, what happened? Liu Xiaojia said this as she walked towards the bedroom. But before she had taken 2 steps, she suddenly stopped. A pair of beautiful big eyes stared blankly into the bedroom. To be precise, he was looking at Jiang Yang. Jiang Yang also looked at Liu Xiaojia stupidly and couldn't help swallowing his saliva. He couldn't believe that his second sister was so beautiful. Moreover, she has a different style of beauty from her elder sister Qin Yuran. The two stared at each other blankly for a few seconds, and Liu Xiaojia's eyes gradually turned red. Brother, where have you been for the past 6 months? I thought I would never see you again. Liu Xiaojia couldn't help herself and opened her arms, wanting to pounce on Jiang Yang. But he was stopped by Qin Yuran. Okay, Xiaojia, don't be so anxious. Your brother is injured. You should treat him first. Qin Yuran said while giving her a wink. Seeing this, Liu Xiaojia was stunned and lowered his head. Some bad memories gradually emerged in her mind. That year, she was 7 years old and her junior brother was 5 years old. She was playing with her junior fellow apprentice in the woods and accidentally threw a branch onto his crotch, causing him to cry in pain. It was said that his crotch was swollen for several days. From then on, the junior brother never played with her again. From then on, she was determined to learn medicine from her master and vowed never to let her junior fellow apprentice get hurt again. But even so, the junior brother still ignored her. This continues to this day. Even if she accidentally touches the junior brother, he will lose his temper with her. But despite this, she still put in 120% of her heart and soul to take care of her junior brother. This time, the junior brother has been missing for half a year. She has lost her appetite and is looking forward to finding him soon. Now that she finally saw her junior brother again, Liu Xiaojia wanted to hug him and tell him that she missed him very much, but she was afraid that she would be treated with the same cold stare as before. Looking at the bloodstained Jiang Yang, Liu Xiaojia took a deep breath and said, Sister, what is going on? Qin Yuran patted her shoulders and said, Xiaojia, don't worry about it for now. Just heal your brother's wounds first. Well. Liu Xiaojia looked at Jiang Yang and said cautiously, Xiaoyan, take off your clothes first. I'll apply some medicine for you. Jiang Yang is the name of Jiang Yang's younger brother. Jiang Yang was stunned. Take off clothes. Qin Yuran curled her lips. What are you standing there for? Didn't you hear what your second sister said? Take it off quickly, otherwise how can I apply the medicine on you? Oh, oh. With the help of Qin Yuran, Jiang Yang quickly took off his shirt. His abdomen and chest were covered with wounds of varying sizes, which was extremely horrifying. Who on earth did this? Who was so cruel? Liu Xiaojie covered her mouth with her little hands and tears burst out on the spot. Even though she often faces various seriously ill patients and has even performed skull and stomach operations on others with her own hands. But now seeing Jiang Yang in such a miserable state, her heart was almost broken. Take off your pants quickly. Liu Xiaojie wiped her tears and said quickly. Take off your pants? No need. Jiang Yang was shocked. It would be too embarrassing for him to take off his pants in front of two beauties. Besides, he had only known these two beauties for less than a day. Hurry up, if your wound is not treated in time, it might get infected. Liu Xiaojie said anxiously. Since Jiang Yang had a broken arm, the difficult task of taking off his pants fell on the two beauties. Sister, please help me. Jiang Yang looked embarrassed. After all, compared to Liu Xiaojie, he was more familiar with Qin Yuran. But in Liu Xiaojie's eyes, this meant that his junior brother still hated him. A trace of disappointment appeared on Liu Xiaojie's face, and she felt as if needles were stabbing her in the heart. All right. After a moment, Qin Yuran opened her red lips, and a blush appeared on her pretty face, making her look even more charming. Liu Xiaojie is much more generous. After all, doctors do not differentiate between men and women. She used her soft little hands to gently stroke Jiang Yang's broken arm. Xiaoyan, please be patient, it may hurt a little. As soon as she finished speaking, she pushed Jiang Yang's bone upwards violently. A piercing pain came over him, and Jiang Yang couldn't help but scream out loud. Seeing this, Liu Xiaojie immediately inserted several silver needles into Jiang Yang's arm. Oddly enough, once these silver needles were inserted, the pain disappeared almost instantly. Then, Liu Xiaojie took out the ointment she had prepared herself. The process of applying the medicine was much more comfortable than before. The two beauties' soft and boneless hands gently wiped and rubbed Jiang Yang's body. Not only did Jiang Yang not feel any pain, but he felt numb all over, which was a very enjoyable experience. After the two beauties finished applying the cream on their upper bodies, they applied the cream on their lower bodies. But not long after, Jiang Yang seemed to sense something, and suddenly opened his eyes and shouted hurriedly, "Wait a minute. I can wipe it myself." Chapter 9 Crying. How can you let anyone touch the inner thigh? Especially the opposite sex. Qin Yuran looked at Jiang Yang, who was shy and couldn't help laughing. Oh, you are still shy in front of your sister. When did you become so shameless? As she spoke, she applied the ointment. Not only that, she seemed to be teasing Jiang Yang, and deliberately made her movements very gentle, making Jiang Yang feel itchy in his heart, as if there were ants crawling around. Finally, in a state of half torture and half enjoyment, the ointment was finally applied. Liu Xiaojie then stood up. Her fair forehead was already covered with sweat, and her hair was tightly stuck to her scalp. She wiped the sweat off with the back of her hand. Okay, apply this ointment and rest for 2 days and you will be healed. If you are fine, I will leave first. Why are you leaving? Your brother is here with us today. Let's have dinner together later. Qin Yuran held her hand. Liu Xiaojie secretly glanced at Jiang Yang and whispered, "No, I have something else to do, you guys eat." Actually, there is nothing wrong with her. She just felt that her brother didn't welcome her. Especially when she saw him talking and laughing with her elder sister just now, Liu Xiaojie felt as if a needle was stabbing her heart. Liu Xiaojie turned around and left in a hurry. Tears were already welling up in her eyes. She didn't want her elder sister and younger brother to see her vulnerable side. Unexpectedly, as soon as she reached the door, Jiang Yang suddenly spoke hesitantly. Second sister. Second sister. These two words made Liu Xiaojie's body tremble. She turned back tremblingly, as if she couldn't believe her ears. Brother, what did you call me? Second sister, it's almost time for dinner, why don't you stay for dinner? Jiang Yang scratched his head. He didn't know about the little things between Liu Xiaojie and Jiang Yang. He just simply thought that Liu Xiaojie had spent so much effort to heal him. He should at least keep her for a while. But he never expected that these simple words would dumbfound Liu Xiaojia. She had forgotten how long it had been since her junior brother called her sister. In that instant, Liu Xiaojia's tears suddenly burst out. They are tears of happiness. "Ah. Okay. Then what do you want to eat? I'll make it for you." Liu Xia was so excited that she spoke incoherently. Jiang Yang scratched his head. "I can do anything, it depends on what you want to eat." "Yeah. You must be hungry too. Wait a minute, I'll make you something delicious." Liu Xiaojia trotted to the kitchen. Seeing this, Qin Yuran couldn't help but look at Jiang Yang, a relieved smile appearing on the corner of her mouth. "Good boy, you finally understand something." During the meal, since Jiang Yang had a broken right arm, his two sisters fed him almost the entire time. Sandwiched between two beauties, Jiang Yang truly felt what heaven was like. "Brother, you should stay here for the next few days. With your second sister, a miracle doctor, taking care of you, your injury will heal faster." After dinner, Qin Yuran said as she cleaned up the dishes. So, Jiang Yang stayed in the villa for the past few days. This stay lasted for a week. During this week, the two beautiful sisters took great care of him. It made him truly feel the taste of home and family. It also warmed up the relationship between him and his two sisters. A week later. Villa living room. Jiang Yang tried to move his body and found that he was completely healed. His two sisters stood by and watched him recover, their eyes smiling into crescent shapes. "Big sister, second sister, I want to go home and take a look." But as soon as these words came out, Qin Yuran's pretty face instantly darkened. "Why, you want to leave right after your injury heals? Are you using your two sisters as tools?" Chapter 10 King of Jiangbei. No. I have to go back to do something. You know, it's about divorce." Jiang Yang waved his hands repeatedly. It was time to break up with Xu Qingqing. Qin Yuran rolled her eyes. All right. I'll take you back." "It's okay, I can go back by myself." Jiang Yang was about to refuse, but Qin Yuran interrupted him. "This place is quite remote, and you can't get a taxi outside. Do you want to walk back? I have something to do in the city, so let's go together." How long would it take to walk back to the city? In the end, Jiang Yang had no choice but to agree to let his elder sister take him there. "Second sister, I'm leaving now." Jiang Yang said goodbye to Liu Xiaojia again. These days, he and Liu Xiaojia have a good relationship. But as soon as he turned around, Liu Xiaojia suddenly seemed to remember something and called him. "Wait, you seem to have forgotten something." "Things? What?" Jiang Yang looked back in confusion and saw Liu Xiaojia's beautiful face getting closer and closer to him. "Boo!" Liu Xiaojia held Jiang Yang's head and gave him a gentle kiss on the face. "Take my kiss with you, and you will have good luck." Liu Xiaojia looked at him lovingly. Jiang Yang was stunned for a moment. He touched his wet cheek and was completely stunned. Was I being kissed forcefully? Qin Yuran was immediately displeased when she saw this, and her eyebrows were raised. "Xiaojia, what are you doing? I, the eldest sister, haven't even started eating yet. How dare you, the second child, do that? What do you care about me?" Liu Xiaojia rolled her eyes at her, then watched Jiang Yang leave with peach blossoms in her eyes. Jiang Yang was confused. Why did he feel like their toy? "When I left the villa, I saw a black Rolls-Royce parked at the door. There was a man in a black suit standing next to the car, waiting for a long time. Seeing Jiang Yang and Qin Yuran coming out, he hurriedly opened the back door. After the two got into the car, he came to the driver's seat. "Mr. Qin, where are we going?" The bodyguard turned around and looked at Qin Yuran. This bodyguard exudes an extremely terrifying aura of hostility, and it is obvious at first glance that he is not an ordinary person. Qin Yuran looked at Jiang Yang and pointed at the bodyguard. "Brother, this is the bodyguard I found for you. He will be responsible for your safety from now on." "A bodyguard for me?" Jiang Yang was stunned. Qin Yuran lifted the hair beside her ear. Her movements were grand and charming. "Yes, he seems to be a famous figure in your province." "What's his name?" Li. What's that?" Seeing this, the man in the suit quickly added, "Li Xingqian." "What? Li Xingqian?" However, upon hearing this name, Jiang Yang almost jumped up and blurted out, "Jiangbei King Li Xingqian." Jianghai City belongs to Jiangbei Province. The king of Jiangbei, as the name suggests, is the leader of the entire Jiangbei Province's underground world. Li Xingqian did not deny it and smiled at Jiang Yang. Brothers, you call me that because you are giving me face. Mr. Jiang, you can just call me Xiao Li. Xiao Li. The corner of Jiang Yang's mouth twitched, and he admired his elder sister even more. Her power is so great that she can get such a powerful guy to be her bodyguard. Brother, where are you going? I'll take you there first. Qin Yuran didn't think it was a big deal and winked at Jiang Yang. Jiang Yang suppressed his shock and gave an address. Li Xingqian started the engine and drove directly to Jiang Yang's residential area. Half an hour later, the car stopped downstairs of Jiang Yang's house. Okay, sister, just go and do your thing. I can handle this on my own. Jiang Yang touched his nose. Chapter 11. The house is sold. Unexpectedly, Qin Yuran rolled her eyes and said, "Why, do you really think something happened to me? I was lying to you. I was just afraid that you would sneak away like you did before. So I came to supervise you." This. Jiang Yang looked embarrassed. Qin Yuran waved her hand. Okay, go upstairs, call your wife down, and I'll take you to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get things done. Jiang Yang was too embarrassed to chase her away, so he had to get out of the car and go upstairs alone. Xu Qingqing doesn't have a job, so she should be at home at this time. Jiang Yang took the elevator to a door on the 7th floor. He took a deep breath and raised his hand to knock on the door. Soon the door opened and a middle-aged woman eating a banana came out. "Who are you looking for?" Looking at the strange woman in front of him, Jiang Yang was stunned for a moment. "Who are you? Why are you in my house? You're home." The woman took a bite of the banana and said, "What nonsense are you talking about, young man? This is my home." "Your home?" Jiang Yang was startled, took 2 steps back, and looked at the house number. "No. This is my home. Who are you and why are you in my house?" The woman was happy. "I wonder what's wrong with you, young man. Wait, I'll get the property certificate and show it to you." Not long after, the woman handed a property certificate to Jiang Yang. When Jiang Yang opened it, he was even more confused. Because this woman is indeed the one on the property certificate. What happened? Why did my house become this woman's? At this moment, the woman suddenly spoke. "Oh, young man, I forgot to tell you, the person who sold the house to me is a woman about your age. I think her name is Xu Qingqing. She should be your relative, you can go find her if you have any problems." Xu Qingqing. Jiang Yang instantly understood what was going on. She must have sold the house. She is still his wife legally, and only she has the right to sell her house. As for why he could sell the house without the consent of the male owner, it was very simple. Nowadays, as long as you have the right connections, nothing is impossible. Jiang Yang was immediately furious and ran downstairs. He has his elder sister now, so this 1 million may not be a big deal, but he can't just give it to Xu Qingqing. Jiang Yang got into the Rolls-Royce angrily. Qin Yuran couldn't help but frown. What's wrong? Is it that the woman doesn't agree to divorce? It doesn't matter, I can help you sue her. No. Jiang Yang suppressed his anger and recounted what had just happened. Qin Yuran's expression turned cold as she heard this. How dare that stinky woman treat my brother like this? Do you know where she is now? I'll teach her a lesson for you. Jiang Yang then gave another address, which was the location of Xu Qingqing's parents' home. Since she is not here, she must be staying at her mother's home, the Xu family. Soon, the Rolls-Royce stopped at the gate of an old residential area. As soon as the car stopped, a group of pedestrians looked sideways and exclaimed. Fortunately, they couldn't see inside the car, otherwise seeing Qin Yuran, a big entrepreneur, would definitely cause a bigger sensation. Seeing this, Jiang Yang frowned. "Sister, just wait for me in the car. You have a special identity, so don't get involved in my affairs, otherwise it will be bad for your reputation if it gets out. Okay, if you have any problem, just call me directly. I'll support you." Qin Yuran crossed her arms and nodded. This was not the first time Jiang Yang came to the Xu family, so he was quite familiar with the place. At this moment, the Xu family's living room was almost full of people. In addition to Xu Qingqing's family, even her aunts and uncles were present. The atmosphere was jubilant. Like there's some big happy event. It was because after Qian Wei disappeared, Xu Qingqing found a more capable man, so they came here today to please Xu Qingqing. As for the fact that Xu Qingqing had found a mistress before getting divorced, at most they would just talk about it behind her back. After all, it would be beneficial for them if Xu Qingqing found a more powerful man. Qingqing, after you become successful, don't forget us. Yes, we are all your relatives, so you must help us more in the future. Listening to everyone's flattering words, Xu Qingqing and her parents all showed proud smiles on their faces. Don't worry, aunt and uncle. After Wang Xiao and I get married, you can come to me if you have any difficulties. And Wang Xiao will be here soon, you can take this opportunity to get to know him. Xu Qingqing said, patting her chest. Everyone was delighted and praised her again, making Xu Qingqing's parents' faces smile like chrysanthemums. Bang, bang, bang. At this moment, a knock on the door suddenly interrupted them. Who is it? Xu Qingqing's mother, Li Guilan, walked over and opened the door. The next moment, her face drooped instantly. Jiang Yang. Why are you here, you loser? Jiang Yang? Everyone in the living room looked up. After seeing Jiang Yang outside the door, they all stopped talking and their expressions became strange and playful. I'm looking for Xu Qingqing. Jiang Yang said coldly. Chapter 12 Wang Xiao. He had no good feelings towards these snobbish relatives. When he was a supervisor, these people treated him like their own father, but when he was demoted, these people avoided him like the plague. Why are you looking for Qingqing? Let me tell you, Qingqing is set to divorce you. No matter how much you beg her, it's no use. Li Guilan's fingers were almost touching Jiang Yang's face. You misunderstood. I came here only to take back what belongs to me. Jiang Yang glanced around the living room, and finally his eyes stopped on Xu Qingqing. My more than 1 million is with you, right? Xu Qingqing was surprised to see Jiang Yang was safe and sound. What happened? Didn't Qian Wei destroy him? What on earth was he doing? From that day on, he seemed to have disappeared from the face of the earth. He could not be found anywhere. The company was closed, and she had to find another sponsor. Soon, Xu Qingqing calmed down. What do you mean more than 1 million? Jiang Yang frowned and said, don't play dumb. You got more than 1 million yuan from selling my house. Do you dare to say you don't have it? Oh, you mean the money? Sorry, I've already spent it. Xu Qingqing said disdainfully, shaking the expensive watch on her fair wrist. What? Spent it? That was the money from selling my house, why did you spend it? Jiang Yang was instantly furious. Xu Qingqing not only did not feel a trace of guilt, but was also confident. What do you mean your house? That house is our common property. Of course I have the right to sell it, and of course I have the right to spend the money from the sale. Seeing Xu Qingqing's shameless appearance, Jiang Yang was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. Xu Qingqing. Do you still have any shame? Is that your house? Did you pay a penny for that house? Seeing that Jiang Yang dared to yell at her precious daughter, Li Guilan was immediately unhappy and pushed Jiang Yang's shoulder hard. How can you, a piece of trash, talk to my daughter? I advise you to be more careful with your mouth, otherwise you will suffer the consequences. A group of relatives also blamed Jiang Yang. That's right, do you still think you are my former supervisor? Now you are just a worthless waste with no money or power. With so many relatives backing her up, Li Guilan was confident. Jiang Yang, I advise you to get out of my house right away, or don't blame us for being rude to you. Get out of your house. Okay. Give me back the money and I'll leave right away. Jiang Yang said in a deep voice. Oh, you still have the nerve to ask for money? My Qingqing has taken care of a loser like you for a year. That money is what she deserves. Why should I give it back to you? Get out of here. Otherwise, I will break your legs. Li Guilan waved her hands impatiently. You don't want to give it to me, right? Well, if you don't give me money, I won't leave. Jiang Yang snorted coldly, then pushed Li Guilan away, walked into the living room carelessly, and sat on the sofa. This action directly angered Li Guilan. She strode to Jiang Yang and slapped him hard in the face. How dare you disobey me, you loser? I told you to get out, are you deaf? But Jiang Yang was prepared. He sneered and kicked her in the stomach, knocking her over on her back, looking miserable. He has lived in an orphanage since he was a child, and he fights with others almost every other day. Most people are no match for him. You little bastard. How dare you? Seeing this scene, everyone present was furious. Dare to beat Li Guilan in front of Xu's family, this shows that you don't take them seriously. Jiang Yang, you little bastard, how dare you hit my wife? I'm going to kill you today. Xu Qingqing's father, Xu Dian, was so angry when he saw his wife being beaten that he immediately yelled and rushed towards Jiang Yang. The other male relatives followed closely behind, looking as if they wanted to kill Jiang Yang. Bang! But the next moment, Jiang Yang suddenly picked up a wine bottle on the coffee table, stood up abruptly, looked at everyone, and said with wide eyes, "Let's see who dares to come up." He didn't want to fight to the death, but he knew that the Xu family was just a paper tiger. Sure enough, when they saw the bottle of wine in his hand, everyone in the Xu family was so frightened that they dared not move. He just dared to stand there, and kept saying, "Put down the bottle if you can. That's right. Put the bottle down. We'll kill you." Everyone's eyes were red with anger, but no one dared to step forward. Jiang Yang couldn't help laughing. "Kill me? With your little courage, do you still want to kill me? You?" Everyone was so angry that their faces turned red, but no one dared to step forward. "That's a wine bottle. If it hits your head, you'll need several stitches, right?" Just when everyone didn't know what to do, Xu Qingqing suddenly came forward, pulled Xu Dan, and said through gritted teeth, "Dad, don't bother with this lunatic. Wang Xiao will be here soon, let him handle this matter later." "What? Young Master Wang is coming soon." When these words were spoken, everyone was overjoyed, as if they had seen a life-saving straw. Young Master Wang. That's Jiang Hai, a man who can cover the sky with one hand. As soon as he arrives, Jiang Yang will definitely die. Chapter 13 Wang Qianhai. Wang Xiao will be here soon. Li Guilan's eyes also flashed with excitement. She pointed at Jiang Yang and yelled, "Jiang Yang, you loser, how dare you hit me? Just wait. When young Master Wang comes, I will make him kill you." "What young Master Wang and young Master Li? Are they that powerful?" Jiang Yang yawned. With his sister's support, he felt more confident. "Humph, you look like you have never seen the world." Xu Qingqing sneered, "Mr. Wang, but he is Wang Qianhai's youngest son. You should have heard of Wang Qianhai. The underground leader of Jianghai City, Wang Qianhai." When talking about Wang Qianhai, Xu Qingqing's face was full of pride. After all, she was about to become Wang Qianhai's daughter-in-law. Everyone was gloating over his misfortune. "Boy, you're done. Master Wang can kill a piece of trash like you, just as easily as killing an ant. I hope you can understand in your next life that there are some people in this world that you can never afford to offend." But Jiang Yan sneered, "Can't afford to offend. Isn't he just some underground leader of Jianghai? What's so scary about that?" After these words were spoken, everyone present was stunned. As the underground leader of Jianghai, although his identity is not very glorious, his strength cannot be underestimated. Now he says is not awesome. Jiang Yang, everyone can brag, but I hope you won't be scared to the point of peeing your pants when Master Wang comes. Li Guilan sneered. As he was speaking, there was a knock on the door. Xu Qingqing's eyes lit up and she rushed over to open the door. A man in his 20s with greasy hair and powdered face appeared outside the door. "Mr. Wang, you are finally here." At this moment, Xu Qingqing and everyone in the living room were all delighted. Wang Xiao came alone. He nodded slightly to everyone, then walked into the living room and said arrogantly, "Qingqing, you just said someone is causing trouble for you, right? Who is that desperate person?" "Him." Xu Qingqing and others pointed at Jiang Yang in unison. Wang Xiao looked in the direction everyone pointed, looked Jiang Yang up and down, and suddenly laughed. "I thought he was some powerful figure. I didn't expect he was just a nobody. Master Wang, he's not a powerful person at all. He's just a useless guy who doesn't even have a job." After Xu Qingqing finished speaking, she grabbed Wang Xiao's arm with both hands and started to act like a spoiled child. "Wang Xiao, you don't know how arrogant he was just now. You must take charge of the situation for me and teach him a lesson. Don't worry, if anyone dares to make my woman unhappy, I will make him regret it." Wang Xiao looked at Jiang Yang fiercely. "Boy, you dare to bully my woman, tell me how to solve this matter." She was wrong first. Jiang Yang opened his mouth. Wang Xiao didn't want to listen to Jiang Yang's explanation at all. "Boy, I don't care if she is wrong or not. If you make her unhappy, you are slapping me in the face. Well, I don't want to waste my time with a piece of trash like you. As long as you come over now and kowtow to my woman to apologize, I will spare your life. How about it?" "Kowtow?" When Jiang Yang heard this, his face instantly darkened. "What if I don't kowtow? Jiang Yang said indifferently. As soon as these words were spoken, the atmosphere at the scene suddenly became tense. Wang Xiao narrowed his eyes and murmured, "Boy, I'm afraid you don't know who I am yet." "Of course I know." Jiang Yang pursed his lips, "Aren't you just a scapegoat? Takeover? What does that mean?" Wang Xiao was stunned. Jiang Yang raised his head and pointed at Xu Qingqing, with a playful look on his face. "She is my wife, we are getting divorced, and you are going to marry her. If you are not a scapegoat, what else can you be?" Boom! Everyone present widened their eyes. He actually dared to scold Wang Xiao for being the scapegoat. You know, almost no one in the entire Jianghai dares to talk to Wang Xiao like this. Wang Xiao also understood what it meant, and his ugly face suddenly twisted. "How dare you scold me? I'm going to kill you today." As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Xiao threw himself towards Jiang Yang. However, although Wang Xiao is the youngest son of the Jianghai underground leader, he has been drained of his body by alcohol and sex since childhood and has no real ability at all. The reason why he dared to take action was that he relied on his father's identity and thought that Jiang Yang would not dare to fight back. But he was wrong. Bang! Seeing Wang Xiao rushing over, Jiang Yang didn't tolerate him and raised his hand to slap him in the face. This slap made Wang Xiao stagger and fall to the ground. Seeing this scene, everyone present was dumbfounded. They couldn't believe that Jiang Yang, this loser, actually dared to attack Wang Xiao. "Wang Xiao!" Xu Qingqing screamed, and immediately rushed over, pulling Wang Xiao up from the ground. Then she looked at Jiang Yang and said with gritted teeth, "Jiang Yang, you are so brave. How dare you lay a hand on Wang Xiao? He is Wang Tianhai's son." Jiang Yang said nonchalantly, "Isn't he just Wang Tianhai? What's so great about him? He's not even worthy of being my younger brother." Hiss! Countless sounds of people gasping for air were heard. "Wang Tianhai, are you not even worthy of being his younger brother? This tone is too arrogant." Chapter 14, Xiangzi. At this time, Wang Xiao also stood up with the help of Xu Qingqing. He straightened his clothes, shook his body, and his face was extremely ferocious. "Boy! You dare to attack me? You are finished. I will call someone over now. If I don't kill you today, my fucking surname is not Wang." After Wang Xiao finished speaking, he made a phone call. "Hey, Xiangzi. I was beaten in your territory. Bring me a few dozen brothers immediately, the address is." But an embarrassed voice came from the other side. "No, Mr. Wang. I was accidentally injured a few days ago and I'm still recovering." "Recover from your injuries? Recover from your paralysis injuries? I'll give you 10 minutes. If you don't come over, I'll let my dad kill you." Wang Xiao was furious. When Xiangzi heard this, he panicked. "No, Mr. Wang. Can't I just go over there?" After the call ended, Wang Xiao grabbed the phone and looked at Jiang Yang fiercely. "Boy, just wait for me. If I don't beat you into a cripple today, I will take your last name." Jiang Yang was not afraid at all. He secretly edited a text message and sent it to his elder sister, then sat on the sofa and said, "Okay, I'll wait for your people to come over." Seeing that Jiang Yang was still pretending to be cool even when he was about to die, everyone present sneered. Xiangzi is the local boss in this area, with dozens of younger brothers under him. Once he arrives, Jiang Yang will definitely die, right? Not long after, there was a commotion in the corridor. Countless crackling sounds of footsteps were heard. Bang! Immediately afterwards, the old door was kicked open. More than a dozen thugs rushed in like a tide and filled up most of the living room in a flash. The most eye-catching one is the bald man in the front. It was not for any other reason, but because he was in a wheelchair and was pushed in by someone else. All 4 of his limbs were in plaster casts, and it was obvious that all of them were broken. Who is so desperate that dares to attack young Master Wang? The bald man is sitting in a wheelchair, but he looks very imposing. "Xiangzi, you're finally here." Wang Xiao immediately ran towards him, but soon he found that Xiangzi's limbs were all broken. He looked incredulous. "Xiangzi, what happened to you? How did you become like this?" Xiangzi spat on the ground and said, "Don't mention it, Mr. Wang. I accidentally fell from the 5th floor a few days ago. I survived, but my arms and legs are broken. I'm afraid I can't help you fight later." "It doesn't matter. With so many brothers you brought with you, it's more than enough." Wang Xiao waved his hand, then turned around and cast a vicious look at Jiang Yang. "Boy, you're unlucky for messing with me. I hope you can be more careful in your next life." Xu Qingqing and the others also showed a gloating smile. With so many people, even if Jiang Yang had 3 heads and 6 arms, he would never be their match. Xu Qingqing looked at Jiang Yang with a joking look on her face. Jiang Yang, you should still remember this Jiangzi, right? He is an old acquaintance of yours. Old acquaintance? These words made Jiang Yang couldn't help but look at Jiangzi. I was surprised when I saw him. Holy shit. Isn't he this the bald guy who broke his arm in Qian Wei's office that day and had his limbs broken by the elder sister? When Jiangzi heard the words, old acquaintance, he couldn't help but look at Jiang Yang. The next moment, he almost fell off the wheelchair. Oh shit. Why is it him? Qin Yuran's younger brother. Was he the person Wang Shao asked him to beat? Wang Shao still didn't understand what was going on. He waved his hand and was about to give orders, brothers, go ahead and kill this guy. But before he could finish his words, Qiang's terrified voice rang out, oh my god. Master Wang, stop it. We can't touch this man. Qin Yuran's younger brother, if he dares to move, can he still save his life? Upon hearing this, Wang Shao stopped immediately and looked at Jiangzi in surprise. Jiangzi, what do you mean by this? Jiangzi looked at Jiang Yang with fear and swallowed his saliva. Master Wang, you don't know how powerful his background is. If we touch him, we will be dead. As soon as these words were spoken, their whole audience exploded. Jiang Yang has a powerful background. If you touch him, you'll be dead. All the horrified eyes were focused on Jiang Yang. Xu Qingqing's family was even more stunned. Wang Shao frowned. Jiangzi, what do you mean by that? Isn't he just a useless person who doesn't even have a job? What's so scary about that? Xu Qingqing also agreed. Yes, I have lived with him for a year, and I know him very well. He is just a waste. What kind of background can he have? Jiangzi said tremblingly, you don't know, he is. But before Jiangzi could finish, Jiang Yang suddenly interrupted him. Ahem. Jiangzi, I didn't expect you still remember me. Jiangzi was stunned and subconsciously looked at Jiang Yang. Only then did he realize that Jiang Yang had been winking at him. Chapter 15 Deadline. Jiangzi is a seasoned man, how could he not understand what this look meant? He doesn't want anyone to know his identity. Jiangzi immediately changed his words and said, Master Wang, I can only tell you that he is someone we cannot afford to offend. When Wang Shao heard this, his face instantly darkened. Someone I can't afford to offend. Is there anyone in Jianghai that I can't afford to offend? Jiangzi, just let your people do it. I'll take responsibility if anything goes wrong. Yes, Jiangzi, I have known this loser for a long time. I know very well what kind of person he is. Xu Qingqing also agreed. Jiangzi looked at them both deeply, and in just a few seconds, he made a decision. He took a deep breath and said, Sorry, Mr. Wang, I can't take care of this matter. You should go find someone else. After saying that, Jiangzi looked at Jiang Yang again. Brother, I'm sorry about what happened today. I hope you don't blame me. Let's go. Then, Jiangzi gave those thugs a look. Those thugs are all Jiangzi's confidants and obey his orders. Since Jiangzi had spoken, they could only follow Jiangzi and leave. Seeing that they were about to leave, Wang Shao became anxious. Are they leaving now? Then where do you put your face? Jiangzi, stop right there. If you dare to leave, I will tell my dad. Wang Shao pointed at them, furious. But Jiangzi and others did not slow down at all. If they offended young Master Wang, at most they would be taught a lesson. But if they offend Jiang Yang, they would probably die without knowing how they died. In less than a minute, Jiangzi and others were gone. Only Xu Qingqing and others were left with a look of horror. They all looked at Jiang Yang with eyes as if they had seen a ghost. Jiangzi was willing to offend Wang Shao rather than take action against Jiang Yang. Could it be that Jiang Yang really has some powerful background? At this time, Jiang Yang finally stood up from the sofa. He stretched and looked at Xu Qingqing. You just said that you spent more than 1 million, right? Well, in this case, I won't force you. I will give you 3 days to raise the money. After 3 days, I will come again. If you still don't pay me back, I won't be as polite as I was today. After leaving a few words, Jiang Yang turned around and left in a casual manner. As for divorce, it's not too late after 3 days. Xu Qingqing and others did not dare to stop him. After Jiang Yang's figure completely disappeared, the entire living room exploded with a loud bang. Xu Qingqing looked at Wang Shao, her body trembling slightly. not knowing whether she was angry or afraid. Wang Xiao, what should we do now? She didn't want to pay back the more than 1 million, even though she hadn't spent it all. Wang Xiao's face was distorted with anger. He is Wang Tianhai's son. Everything that happened today was a huge humiliation for him. Damn it. I don't care who he is. If he dares to treat me like this, I will not be a human being unless I kill him. Wang Xiao was furious and punched the coffee table hard. But what should we do now? Xu Qingqing couldn't help but ask. At the same time, he also felt that Jiangzi must have received some benefits from Jiang Yang, which was why he was unwilling to attack him. After all, she and Jiang Yang had slept in the same bed for a year, and she knew Jiang Yang very well what kind of person he was. Wang Xiao took out his cell phone and gritted his teeth. I'll call my dad right now and ask him to help. I don't believe that my dad can't deal with a piece of trash. After these words were spoken, Xu Qingqing and others were very excited. Wang Tianhai is a legendary figure in Jianghai City. If he makes a move, Jiang Yang will definitely die. At the entrance of Shujie community. That conspicuous Rolls-Royce is still parked here. Jiang Yang came out of the community and walked to the car. Just as he was about to open the door, a pleasant and urgent voice suddenly came from behind him, brother-in-law. Looking back, he saw a girl in her early 20s wearing hot pants running towards him hurriedly. The long white legs swayed in the sun, attracting the attention of passers-by. Brother-in-law, are you okay? The girl was Xu Qingqing's sister Xu Xinshan. Chapter 16 Information. She was working in a hotel when she received a call from her neighbor who said that she saw Xu Qingqing calling a group of thugs to beat Jiang Yang, so she rushed over without stopping. It's okay. Jiang Yang shook his head. At the same time, he took his hand off the Rolls-Royce without saying a word. Despite what Jiang Yang said, Xu Xinshan was still a little worried. She checked Jiang Yang from head to toe and only breathed a sigh of relief after making sure that he had no injuries. Then he raised his head, his eyes red. Brother-in-law, I'm sorry. As for the Rolls-Royce, she didn't even take a second look at it, and it was obvious that she didn't recognize the brand. Why are you saying sorry to me? Jiang Yang wondered. Xu Xinshan bit her lip lightly. Brother-in-law, you are so good to my sister, but my sister betrayed you and even hired someone to beat you up this time. Fortunately, nothing happened to you. Otherwise, I really don't know how to face you in the future. As Xu Xinshan spoke, tears began to fall from her eyes. In her mind, Jiang Yang's importance is no less than that of her parents and sister. In fact, Jiang Yang helped her solve many problems in the past. So she not only has feelings for Jiang Yang, but also a kind of dependence on him. Jiang Yang was at a loss when he saw her suddenly burst into tears. Xinshan, don't cry, it's not your fault. Brother-in-law. Why is my sister so cruel? It is said that a husband and wife will be grateful to each other for 100 days after they marry. How come she doesn't remember the kindness we showed her in the past at all? Xu Xinshan looked so pitiful with tears in her eyes. Jiang Yang remained silent. Xu Xinshan smiled bitterly and said, she also took all the money from the sale of your house. That's more than 1 million yuan. She took it all. What are you going to do in the future? It's okay, you don't have to worry about me. Jiang Yang said. But to Xu Xinshan, this sounded like Jiang Yang was comforting himself. She wiped her tears and said firmly, brother-in-law, don't worry. I will pay you back the more than 1 million yuan on behalf of my sister. When I have money in the future, I will let you live in a bigger house. Okay. Jiang Yang said with a smile, but he didn't care in his heart. He has issued a final ultimatum. If Xu Qingqing does not pay back the money after 3 days, he will get the money back through other means. After all, almost half of the more than 1 million yuan was the hard work of the old dean. Xu Xinshan wanted to say something else, but Jiang Yang took the lead and said, okay, Xinshan, I won't say any more to you for now. I have something else to do here. You should go back to work as soon as possible. Xu Xinshan was stunned, and nodded obediently, okay, brother-in-law, I'll leave first. When I get my salary, I'll treat you to a big meal. Jiang Yang smiled and nodded. After Xu Xinshan left, looking back every 3 steps, Jiang Yang got into the back seat of the Rolls-Royce. Qin Yuran crossed her arms and said sourly, who was that girl just now? I saw that she seemed to like you a little bit. Jiang Yang quickly explained, sister, don't talk nonsense. That's my sister-in-law, I always treat her as my sister. HMPH, I hope so. Qin Yuran snorted. You are not injured, right? I saw that the one who attacked you just now was the bald guy from last time, so I didn't go up to help you. Don't worry, I'm fine. Well, where to go next? As for why Jiang Yang didn't bring Xu Qingqing down to divorce, Qin Yuran didn't ask much. She knew Jiang Yang had his own ideas. Next up. Jiang Yang did not answer this question immediately. Instead, he opened the cell phone message. There was a person named Li Qianqian on it, who sent him a text message yesterday. Grandma wants you to come over. Li Qianqian is the old dean's granddaughter. Jiang Yang and she have been childhood sweethearts, and their relationship is as good as that of siblings. Jiang Yang even knew exactly how many moles Li Qianqian had on her body. The old dean even said many times that he would let the two get married when they grew up. Li Qianqian also expressed her love for Jiang Yang many times. However, Jiang Yang was eventually bewitched by Xu Qingqing. Between her and Xu Qingqing, she resolutely chose Xu Qingqing. Before Jiang Yang and Xu Qingqing got married, Li Qianqian had already seen through Xu Qingqing's character and advised Jiang Yang to get to know Xu Qingqing well before getting married. But Jiang Yang at that time had already been bewitched by Xu Qingqing. Not only did he not listen to her, he also scolded her for meddling in other people's business. Li Qianqian did not show up on the wedding day. She locked herself in the room for a day and a night. When I came out the next day, both of my eyes were red and swollen from crying. From then on, Li Qianqian became completely disheartened and her attitude towards Jiang Yang became more and more distant. Now, when she eats at the old dean's house, she will never eat a single bite of any dish that Jiang Yang has touched. She would wash many times anything Jiang Yang touched. It was as if Jiang Yang was disgusting. Thinking of this, Jiang Yang couldn't help but smile bitterly. Perhaps the biggest mistake I have ever made in my life was letting her down and choosing Xu Qingqing. Chapter 17 Li Qianqian. If Jiang Yang were given another chance, he would definitely choose Li Qianqian instead of Xu Qingqing. Unfortunately, there is no medicine for regret in this world. Seeing that Jiang Yang remained silent, Qin Yuran couldn't help but tap him on the head and murmured, "Which girl are you thinking about now?" Jiang Yang woke up from his dream and rubbed his forehead. "Sister, why don't you go back first? I can go to the next place by myself." After a pause, he added, "Don't worry, I won't run away again." Qin Yuran stared at Jiang Yang for a few seconds, but did not refuse. "Okay, in that case, I will go back first, but let Xiao Li follow you to protect your safety." Somehow, she felt that her brother now seemed a little different from before. But Qin Yuran didn't think much about it. Maybe her brother had grown up and become sensible. No problem. Jiang Yang nodded. Then he and Li Xingchen got out of the car. After Qin Yuran said goodbye to him, she drove away in her Maserati. "Mr. Jiang, where are we going now?" Li Xingchen looked at Jiang Yang. "Just follow me." Jiang Yang first sent a text message to Li Qianqian, saying that he would go there right away. Then, I took a taxi. After a while, we arrived at a village in the city. "Brother Li, just wait for me here. I can go there by myself." Jiang Yang looked at Li Xingchen. After all, he was going to see the old dean, so what was the point of taking Li Xingchen with him? "Okay, Mr. Jiang." Jiang Yang walked alone into the depths of the urban village. Not long after, a beautiful figure appeared in front. She was a woman about 24 or 25 with light brown hair. She was wearing an OL professional suit, her round and beautiful legs were tightly wrapped in black stockings, and she was wearing a pair of black high heels, which was very sexy. "Qianqian." Bang! As soon as Jiang Yang came to her side, Li Qianqian suddenly slapped him in the face. Jiang Yang was stunned by the slap. It took him a long while to react. He frowned and asked, "Why did you hit me?" Li Qianqian opened her red lips and said coldly, "Shouldn't you fight?" When Jiang Yang heard this, he suddenly became like a wilted cucumber and lost all his temper. "Sorry. I think Li Qianqian and the others should also know that Xu Qingqing sold her house. If I had listened to Li Qianqian at the beginning, I wouldn't have ended up like this." Li Qianqian didn't say anything else. She turned around and walked into a yard next door in her high heels. Jiang Yang followed closely behind. At this moment, a large group of people gathered in the small yard, all of them were Li Qianqian's relatives. Right in the middle of them, the white-haired, kind-faced old lady lying on the recliner is the old director of the orphanage. "Hey, Xiao Yang, you're here to see Grandma." As soon as Jiang Yang entered the room, he attracted everyone's attention. But, except for the old dean, almost everyone's faces drooped in an instant. Jiang Yang, you still have the nerve to come here. That's right. Grandma gave you all her life savings. But you were cheated. Do you think you are worthy of Grandma? People were criticizing and spitting everywhere. Jiang Yang lowered his head, clenched his fists tightly, and remained silent. Li Qianqian stood aside, with her arms folded across her chest, looking on coldly, without the slightest intention of speaking up for Jiang Yang. That's enough. Stop talking. In the end, it was the old dean who spoke up to shut them up. Xiao Yang was deceived. It was all Xu Qingqing's fault. Why are you blaming Xiao Yang? The old dean looked at Jiang Yang again. Xiao Yang, it's okay, Grandma doesn't blame you. We can earn money again if we lose it. Grandma believes that with your ability, you will definitely become a capable person in this life. Jiang Yang couldn't help but feel a slight soreness in his nose when he heard this. At the same time, I secretly vowed to get the money back. Grandma, don't worry. 3 days. Give me 3 days, and I will definitely get the money back. Jiang Yang had a determined look on his face. If Xu Qingqing didn't return the money after 3 days, he wouldn't mind asking his eldest sister to help. Chapter 18, Random Matchmaking. But when these words came out, they were met with countless sneering voices, and the laughter was full of sarcasm. You want to come back? Do you want to come back? At this time, a 26 or 27-year-old woman with heavy makeup said in a gloomy tone, I heard that Xu Qingqing is now on the list of Wang Xiao, and Wang Xiao is the son of Wang Tianhai. With a piece of trash like you, how can you beat him? She is Li Qianqian's cousin, Li Yu. She had been at odds with Jiang Yang since she was a child, and felt that Jiang Yang was just a bastard and did not deserve the old dean's favor. When the old dean gave his savings to Jiang Yang to buy a house, she was even more strongly opposed, and even found some male friends to threaten Jiang Yang, saying that if Jiang Yang dared to accept it, he would be crippled. But in the end, the old dean still gave the money to Jiang Yang. Li Qianqian also crossed her arms and looked at Jiang Yang with disgust. Can you please stop bragging? Grandma is so good to you, and you are still lying to her. Are you still a human being? I'm not bragging, I'm telling the truth. Jiang Yang quickly explained. But what he got in return was Li Yu's even more disdainful ridicule. Har har, you're killing me with laughter. You ignorant idiot, do you know what the name Wang Tianhai means to Jiang Hai? He is a man who can make Jiang Hai tremble with just a stomp of his feet. Do you think you are his opponent? I'm not. Jiang Yang shook his head and added, but my friend is. Hey, your friend. Who is your friend? Jiang Bei King Li Xingqian. Li Yu looked at him with disdain, her eyes full of contempt. As expected of my cousin, you guessed it right away. Jiang Yang said with a smile. Puff. But when these words were spoken, not only Li Yu, but almost everyone present couldn't control themselves and burst into laughter. Li Yu smiled so voluptuous that tears were about to fall out. Oh my god. Jiang Yang. Did you just get out of the mental hospital? And Li Xingqian is your friend. A loser like you is lucky to be able to carry someone's shoes. Unreasonable. This time, Li Qianqian was so angry that her chest was shaking. While I was disappointed with Jiang Yang, I also felt that he was very sad. Although he didn't have any great abilities in the past, at least he had good character. But now, he has turned into such a second-rate person who talks nonsense. It seems that time can really change a person. That's enough. Stop laughing. Finally, the old dean couldn't stand it anymore and slapped the armrest of the recliner. Only then did they stop laughing, but everyone's face was still full of smiles. Xiao Yan, it's okay. The house has been sold. Grandma doesn't blame you. You don't have to make up these stories to make Grandma happy. The old dean looked at Jiang Yang and said, besides, it's good that you and Xu Qingqing are divorced. Grandma has long wanted Qianqian to be with you. Now we finally have the chance. What? These words made everyone present stop laughing, and everyone's face was filled with astonishment. Li Qianqian is pursued by many rich second-generation men. Being with this trash is like putting flowers on cow dung. Grandma, I don't. Li Qianqian's pretty face also changed. I don't want to be with him. Li Qianqian's father, Li Xingban, couldn't help but frown. Mom, what kind of love match are you making? Isn't it a bit absurd to let Qianqian and Jiang Yang be together? Ridiculous. What's so ridiculous about this? The old dean snorted. I watched Xiao Yang grow up, and I think he is more than suitable for Qianqian. Besides, didn't Qianqian like him very much before? Li Qianqian said anxiously, Grandma, that was all in the past. People always change, and I have no feelings for him anymore. If there is no affection, you can cultivate it slowly. You can move around more often these days. If you feel it is still not suitable after a long time, it is not too late to separate. The old dean waved his hand. Chapter 19. Agree. Grandmother. Li Qianqian wanted to say more, but was interrupted by the old dean, who scolded her. Qianqian, you don't even listen to your grandma. You have grown up so big, and your grandma has never asked you to do anything, right? If you dare not agree this time, don't call me grandma anymore. The old dean was angry, and Li Qianqian dared not say a word and lowered her head. She can ignore anyone's advice except her grandmother. She has been without a mother since she was a child. Her father went out to earn money every day when she was young, and she was raised entirely by her grandmother. It can be said that her grandmother's kindness to her is as great as a mountain. Seeing Li Qianqian bowing her head and saying nothing, the old dean said earnestly, Qianqian, just listen to grandma this time. You and Xiao Yan should spend a week together first. If you feel it is not suitable, you can separate. Grandma, Li Qianqian wanted to say something else. But the old dean didn't want to listen. All right, it's settled. If you refuse again, don't call me grandma anymore. I don't have a granddaughter like you. Do you hear me? Yes, grandma. Li Qianqian was so aggrieved that she was about to cry. My grandma is old and in poor health. If I get her angry again and something bad happens to her, she will feel guilty for the rest of her life. She was a filial person, so how could she bear to make her grandmother angry? The old dean then smiled and looked at Jiang Yang. Xiao Yan, you should spend more time with Qianqian these days. However, Jiang Yang looked embarrassed and stole a glance at Li Qianqian. Grandma, why don't we just forget it? Qianqian can find a better family than me. He truly felt that he was not worthy of Li Qianqian. Besides, he and Xu Qingqing haven't divorced yet. But in Li Qianqian's opinion, Jiang Yang was just being insincere. He must have known that grandma would not agree to him leaving him, so he said that. Sure enough, the old dean shook her head and said, what good family? Xiao Yan, you grew up under grandma's watch. Grandma thinks that you are the best candidate for Qianqian's husband, so don't refuse. Grandma, I still say the same thing. You two should spend a week together first. If it doesn't work out, it won't be too late to separate then. Well, okay. At this point, Jiang Yang could only agree temporarily. Okay, it's almost noon. Grandma has some money here. You and Qianqian can go out to eat. The old dean handed them a few bills, and he was determined to bring them together. Li Qianqian bit her lip lightly and had no choice but to agree. Grandma, let's go. Li Qianqian walked out first. Jiang Yang said goodbye to the old dean and followed closely. After leaving the yard, Li Qianqian looked at Jiang Yang and said through gritted teeth, Jiang Yang, let me remind you first. Although I promised Grandma that I would be with you for a while, I hope you don't think too much. It's impossible for the two of us. She also thought about separating from Jiang Yang as soon as she went out the door, since her grandmother couldn't see what she was doing outside anyway. But she was afraid that Jiang Yang would go to his grandmother to complain. After all, in her eyes, Jiang Yang now was just like those street thugs, talking nonsense, greedy for money and lustful, and she felt sick just by looking at him. Looking at Li Qianqian's heartless look, Jiang Yang felt a little uncomfortable. Well, Qianqian, don't worry. Jiang Yang smiled bitterly. Where to go now? Li Qianqian gritted her teeth and said, since I promised Grandma, I will be with you for this week. Go wherever you want to go. I'm going home. Jiang Yang sighed. What? Li Qianqian seemed to have heard it wrongly. Go home. What do you mean? Jiang Yang pursed his lips and said, you don't have to take Grandma's words to heart. For this week, we won't interfere with each other. After a week, I will tell Grandma directly that we are not suitable. Since you don't want to be with me, I won't force you. Chapter 20. Classmates. After hearing these words, Li Qianqian was stunned on the spot. She couldn't believe that Jiang Yang would say such a thing. But soon, she realized that this must be Jiang Yang's trick. He just wanted to use this to make me feel good about him. If I turned around and left now, he would definitely tell Grandma secretly. Thinking of this, Li Qianqian couldn't help but sneered, "Since you don't choose a place, then I will choose it myself." Li Qianqian hailed a taxi and Jiang Yang had to get in. In fact, he also wanted Li Qianqian to forgive him. Even just being an ordinary friend is fine. After a while, the car stopped in front of a mid-range restaurant. After getting off the car, Li Qianqian didn't even look at Jiang Yang and walked straight into their hotel. Jiang Yang looked around, but did not see Li Qianqian, and did not know where he had gone. After entering the restaurant, the two found a seat and sat down, and Li Qianqian started ordering food. To Jiang Yang's surprise, Li Qianqian ordered several dishes in a row, all of which were Jiang Yang's favorites. Jiang Yang couldn't help but smile. As if noticing Jiang Yang's expression, Li Qianqian said coldly, "Don't get me wrong, I have no appetite when I'm with you. I ordered these dishes just for you to eat alone." Jiang Yang was speechless. Is it that necessary? However, he also sighed in his heart. Because he understood that the deeper the love in the past, the deeper the hatred now. Just as the two of them finished ordering their food, there was a sudden commotion at the entrance of the restaurant. I saw a few women dressed up in fancy clothes pushing the door and walking into the hotel. Li Qianqian took a casual glance and her brows frowned instantly. Because these people are all her college classmates. The big wave in the front is called Zhang Yuan. He and Li Qianqian never got along well when they were in school, and the two of them were fighting overtly and covertly almost everywhere. After entering society, although the two met less often, their hatred did not diminish in the slightest. When she saw her, Li Qianqian subconsciously lowered her head, not wanting them to recognize her. Because she heard that Zhang Yuan now had a very powerful boyfriend, who was said to be the confidant of Wang Tianhai, the underground leader of Jianghai. If she saw me, I don't know how she would humiliate me. Hey, isn't this the campus beauty of Li University? What a coincidence. However, although Li Qianqian tried her best to cover her figure, she was still discovered by them. Li Qianqian knew that she couldn't escape this time, so she could only sigh, raised her head, and forced a smile. "Yeah, what a coincidence. School beauty Li, why are you in the mood to eat here today?" Zhang Yuan and the others' expressions immediately became much more excited, and they walked over. When they got closer, they found that there was a man sitting opposite Li Qianqian. "Hey, Li Qianqian, is this your boyfriend?" Several people looked Jiang Yang up and down, and when they saw that he was wearing cheap clothes, a hint of ridicule appeared on their faces. Li Qianqian hurriedly explained, "Don't get me wrong, he is not my boyfriend." "What? Campus Belle Li, you still don't dare to admit it? We have all seen your boyfriend before." When Li Qianqian was in college, Jiang Yang often went to the school to see her, and their relationship was very close at that time, and they looked no different from a boyfriend and girlfriend. Therefore, Zhang Yuan and others all unanimously concluded that Jiang Yang was Li Qianqian's boyfriend. Li Qianqian bit her lip lightly, knowing that no matter how much she explained, it would be useless. At this time, Zhang Yuan suddenly sat down next to Li Qianqian. Then, she pointed at Jiang Yang and said jokingly, "Li Qianqian, aren't you going to introduce your boyfriend to us?" Chapter 21 Zhang Garden. Is this necessary? Li Qianqian frowned slightly. Why not? We all want to see what your school beauty Li's man looks like. Zhang Yuan looked at Jiang Yang and said in a condescending tone, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" When Li Qianqian heard this, she quickly looked at Jiang Yang. Just as she was about to tell him to stop talking nonsense, Jiang Yang scratched his ears and said, "I don't have a job." That's the unemployed. After that, several girls smiled brightly. Hearing the laughter of the crowd, Li Qianqian's face turned red instantly. It's shameful, so shameful. Although Jiang Yang was not her boyfriend at all, she still felt her face burning. Seeing that she didn't dare to say anything, Zhang Yuan became even more aggressive. "Li Qianqian, you used to be a school beauty, why did you choose such a loser now? Do you have any special hobbies, such as liking useless trash?" This sentence is a bit too much. You? Li Qianqian was furious. She stood up suddenly, slammed the table and glared at her fiercely. Even Jiang Yang frowned slightly. He didn't want to bother with these women, but that didn't mean he could allow himself to be insulted. "Hey, what's up, Li Qianqian? Do you still want to do something to me?" Zhang Yuan glanced at her and sneered, "Do you know who my boyfriend is?" "My boyfriend is Zhang Hu, Wang Tianhai's confidant." Zhang Hu. As soon as this name came out, Li Qianqian was instantly speechless. She couldn't afford to offend someone of Jiang Hu's level. Seeing that the once arrogant campus beauty could not even raise her head in front of him, Zhang Yuan was extremely excited. In the past at school, she had often been defeated by Li Qianqian, but now it was finally her turn to take revenge. Li Qianqian, why are you silent? Weren't you very powerful when you were in school? Why are you as quiet as a dog now? Zhang Yuan pushed Li Qianqian with a playful look on his face. Li Qianqian gritted her teeth and clenched her fists, but dared not say a word. Jiang Hu was not someone she could afford to offend, so she could only choose to be patient. Har har har. Seeing the campus beauty who was once full of vigor and vitality, now not even daring to raise her head in front of them, Zhang Yuan and others burst into laughter. Cool. It feels so good to step on the campus beauty under your feet. Li Qianqian, if you want to blame someone, just blame yourself for finding a useless boyfriend. Look, I scolded you in front of him, but he didn't dare to say anything. Jiang Yuan looked at Jiang Yang with a mocking expression. Little loser, I was just joking with your girlfriend. You're not angry, are you? Don't be angry. Isn't it normal for friends to joke with each other? Jiang Yang had a strange smile on his face. Har har har. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone in the audience burst into laughter again. The onlookers all around looked at Jiang Yang with eyes full of contempt and anger. His girlfriend was insulted in front of everyone, but he didn't even dare to fart. Is he still a man? Even Li Qianqian couldn't help but look up and glanced at Jiang Yang with great disappointment. Although she didn't even pray that Jiang Yang would help her. But she never expected that Jiang Yang would actually flatter Zhang Yuan. You little idiot, you are very sensible. Zhang Yuan patted Jiang Yang's face and said, follow me from now on. As long as you behave yourself, I will make sure you have everything you want. Well, let's talk about the future later. Let's talk about the present first. Jiang Yang said with a smile. Okay, tell me what's the matter. Zhang Yuan said with a smile. Bang. But the next moment, Jiang Yang slapped Zhang Yuan in the face, and Zhang Yuan fell to the ground. Just now you made a joke about Qianqian, and now I'm making a joke on your behalf. You're not angry, are you? Chapter 22 Calling People. The crisp sound of applause echoed throughout the hotel. Everyone was dumbfounded. Zhang Yuan also touched her numb cheek in disbelief, and then she exploded. You bastard, you dare to hit me. I'm going to kill you. Zhang Yuan rushed towards Jiang Yang with bared fangs and claws. Bang. But what he got in return was still a loud slap in the face. This slap is for your disrespect to Li Qianqian just now. Bang. This slap is for your rudeness to me just now. Bang. This last slap is to punish you for taking advantage of others. The three slaps were louder than the last. When the last slap landed, Zhang Yuan fell to the ground with half of his face swollen. The whole audience fell silent. Everyone looked at Jiang Yang with horror. Even Li Qianqian was stunned on the spot. He actually beat Zhang Yuan. This is Jiang Hu's girlfriend. Zhang Yuan quickly staggered to her feet. Her face was extremely ferocious, and she pointed at Jiang Yang. You dare to hit me. You are done. You are done. I will let my boyfriend kill you. And you raped your girlfriend, that bitch. After Zhang Yuan finished speaking, he made a phone call with trembling hands. Hey, brother Tiger, I'm being bullied. What? What's going on? An angry voice sounded. Zhang Yuan quickly recounted what had just happened, and then cried, Brother Hu, you must make the decision for me. If he hits me, it's like hitting you in the face. Who is that guy? How dare he hit my woman? Zhang Hu said angrily. Zhang Yuan quickly said, Brother Hu, don't worry. His name is Jiang Yang. He is just a useless guy who has no parents since childhood. He doesn't have any background. But when Zhang Hu heard the word Jiang Yang, his eyes suddenly widened. Who? You mean Jiang Yang? Which Jiang Yang? Jiang Yang, who grew up in an orphanage and has no parents. What's wrong, Brother Hu? As soon as Zhang Yuan said this, Zhang Hu was immediately excited. Damn it. I was just worried that I couldn't find him. It's really easy to get him. Brother Tiger, what do you want to do with him? You don't need to know these, you just need to know that he is dead today. Okay, give me the address quickly, I'll be there right away. Zhang Hu was looking for Jiang Yang at Wang Qianhai's order. Jiang Yang beat his younger son Wang Xiao, so how could Wang Qianhai let it go? Zhang Yuan told the address and hung up the phone. Then, she looked at Jiang Yang fiercely. Jiang Yang, just wait, my boyfriend is coming soon. Just wait to die. After hearing this, Li Qianqian panicked instantly. Jiang Yang, you are too impulsive. This is over. Let's go quickly. No matter what, Jiang Yang beat Zhang Yuan for her sake, so she couldn't keep giving him the cold shoulder. Jiang Yang smiled and said, leave? Why leave? I want to see how powerful this Zhang Hu is. When Zhang Yuan called just now, Jiang Yang also sent a text message to Li Xingqian, and Li Xingqian said he would be there soon. Jiang Yang's nonchalant attitude made Li Qianqian even more anxious. Jiang Yang, are you crazy? That's the big gangster Zhang Hu. When he arrives, things will be difficult. What's wrong with Zhang Hu? Even if Wang Qianhai comes in person, what is there to be afraid of? Jiang Yang said lightly. You are unreasonable. You don't want to leave, right? Then wait for death. I'm leaving. Seeing Jiang Yang bragging again, Li Qianqian gritted her teeth in anger, turned around and wanted to leave. However, before she had taken a few steps, she was blocked by the women from Zhang Yuan. Want to leave? No way. Zhang Yuan looked at her fiercely. Both of you, don't even think about leaving here alive today. Chapter 23 Zhang Hu. Zhang Yuan, get out of my way. Li Qianqian bit her lips lightly and tried to push them away, but how could she push 4 or 5 people away with her own strength? She could only ask Jiang Yang for help. Jiang Yang, why don't you come and help me quickly? Otherwise, when Zhang Hu comes, neither of us will be able to leave. Jiang Yang, however, waved his hand as if nothing had happened. Qianqian, trust me, we don't have to leave, and nothing will happen to us. You? At this moment, Li Qianqian really wanted to go up and slap Jiang Yang twice. Is he staying here to seek death? How can there be such stupid people in the world? Li Qianqian wanted to say something, but it was too late. At this moment, footsteps suddenly sounded outside the door. Immediately afterwards, more than a dozen burly men rushed in. The leader was a muscular man with a crew cut. Brother Tiger. When Zhang Yuan saw the muscular man, he hurried towards him. Who is Jiang Yang? Zhang Hu looked at everyone present with a ferocious look on his face. It's him? Brother Hu, you must destroy him for me. Zhang Yuan pointed at Jiang Yang, gritting his teeth. Zhang Hu followed her finger and looked at Jiang Yang, his face gloomy. Are you Jiang Yang? You are the one who beat up Wang Xiao and my woman. Yes, what's wrong? Jiang Yang did not hide it. Fuck you. How dare you ask what's wrong? Can a loser like you touch those 2 people? Zhang Hu was furious. Jiang Yang sneered, they provoked me, why can't I do anything? You are a low-class person like you, are you worthy enough to fight them? Zhang Hu cursed, boy, I will cripple your limbs today. I hope you can understand in your next life that there are some people in this world that you will never be able to reach in your lifetime. Zhang Yuan was also very proud when he heard this, and he said arrogantly, yes. Get rid of this loser. Brother Hu, and the bitch next to him, she is his girlfriend, you must not let her go. It's better to have her killed. As long as Li Qianqian is raped by this group of thugs, let us see if she can ever hold her head up in front of him in the future. Don't worry. Zhang Hu said as he looked at Li Qianqian. But, it didn't matter that he saw it, his 2 little eyes suddenly lit up. Especially when he saw the pair of beautiful legs wrapped in black stockings, Zhang Hu almost drooled. It's the best. She is simply a beauty. It must be exciting to drag it to the bed. Being stared at by so many fierce eyes, Li Qianqian's legs went weak and she collapsed to the ground. Seeing this, Jiang Yang hurried over and helped her up from the ground. Qianqian, don't be afraid, my friend will be here soon. With him here, Zhang Hu can't do anything to us. Your friend. Zhang Yuan couldn't help but burst out laughing when he heard that. Har har. Li Qianqian, not only is your boyfriend a loser, but his brain doesn't seem to work very well. Does he think those bad friends he knows are a match for Brother Hu? The rest of the people around also burst into laughter. Let me go. Li Qianqian couldn't help but push Jiang Yang away, tears welling up in her eyes. Just now I asked you to leave but you refused. Now that's enough, both of us are done for today. Before Jiang Yang could say anything else, Zhang Yuan was already impatient. Brother Hu, stop talking nonsense with them. They are small fry and not worth wasting our time. Let's get some help. That's right, come on. Jiang Hu also waved his hand, and more than a dozen thugs behind him instantly walked towards Jiang Yang. Seeing so many thugs walking towards her with murderous intent, Li Qianqian was so scared that her face turned pale, her mind went blank, and she subconsciously hugged Jiang Yang's arm. Chapter 24 Li Xingqian takes action. It was also because she was too scared. Under normal circumstances, there was no way she would have done such an intimate thing with Jiang Yang. Jiang Yang only felt his arm go soft, and then a fragrance entered his nostrils. Don't be afraid, we will be fine. He patted Li Qianqian's shoulders and then raised his head. Just when the group of thugs were about to reach Jiang Yang, the door of the hotel was suddenly kicked open with a bang. Then, Li Xingqian, dressed in a suit, rushed in. He saw more than a dozen thugs trying to attack Jiang Yang, so he didn't say anything and just rushed into the crowd, punching and kicking them. Bang, bang, bang. Even though Li Xingqian is alone, he is the king of Jiangbei, and he fought his way to this position step by step with his fists and feet, so it goes without saying how strong he is. In less than a minute, more than a dozen thugs from Jiang Hu's side almost all lay on the ground, wailing in pain, and could no longer get up. Jiang Hu swallowed his saliva and his legs went weak. He had never seen anyone who was so good at fighting. While he was stunned, Li Xingqian was already walking towards him step by step. Jiang Hu was so frightened that he broke out in a cold sweat. Who are you? What do you want to do? I'm warning you. I'm Wang Tianhai's man. Jiang Hu is relatively young, so he is not very familiar with Li Xingqian. Crack. But before he could finish, Li Xingqian kicked him in the chest. This kick broke two of Jiang Hu's ribs. But that's not all. Li Xingqian walked over again, picked up a mop from the side, and smashed it hard on Jiang Hu's limbs. Crack. Jiang Hu's limbs suddenly twisted in a strange posture. Arr! Jiang Hu's screams, like a pig being slaughtered, echoed throughout the entire hotel, making everyone present gasp. But Li Xingqian was not affected at all. He stepped on Jiang Hu's chest with one foot, a teasing smile on his face, and said, "Go back and tell that old dog Wang Tianhai that if he dares to touch Jiang Yang again, I will kill him." After saying this, Li Xingqian walked towards Jiang Yang. Along the way, anyone who stood in his way subconsciously made way for him, and even dared not look directly at him, as if he were a devil. When Li Xingqian walked to Jiang Yang's side, the murderous aura on his body instantly subsided, and he became respectful. "Mr. Jiang, are you okay?" "Jiang, Mr. Jiang?" This scene made everyone's jaw drop. Such a powerful person actually calls this loser Mr. Jiang? Even Li Qianqian was completely dumbfounded. Jiang Yang shook his head, then looked at Zhang Yuan and said coldly, "What did you just say? You want to destroy me, right?" Zhang Yuan had already been so frightened that he sat on the ground, trembling. Jiang Yang, I was wrong. I didn't recognize the real man. Don't let him hit me. Don't worry, I won't hit you. Jiang Yang said sternly, "But if you dare to disrespect Qian again, I won't just beat you up." Yes. I promise to take a detail when I see her next time." Zhang Yuan nodded repeatedly. "Go away." Jiang Yang waved his hand gently. Zhang Yuanru was pardoned and he crawled out of the restaurant. More than a dozen thugs quickly lifted up the unconscious Jiang Hu and fled out of the restaurant. As for Li Xingqian, he took a look and hugged Jiang Yang tightly. Li Qianqian, who was frightened, showed a mysterious smile and left here very tactfully. "Are you okay?" Jiang Yang then lowered his head and looked at Li Qianqian in his arms. "Fine." Li Qianqian was about to speak when she suddenly realized something was wrong. She looked down and found that she had ended up in Jiang Yang's arms without her knowing when. She screamed and quickly pushed Jiang Yang away. Chapter 25 Wang Tianhai appears. "No. It's okay." She blushed and gritted her teeth, turning her head away and not daring to look at Jiang Yang. "What's going on? When did I get into this guy's arms? It's so embarrassing. Besides, was that person just now his friend?" Li Qianqian couldn't help but look up at the direction where Li Xingqian disappeared. When did Jiang Yang get such a powerful friend? But soon, she realized another point. It's over. Jiang Yang. Your friend was too impulsive just now. He actually beat up Jiang Hu, who is Wang Tianhai's most trusted subordinate. If Wang Tianhai gets angry, we'll be finished. Li Qianqian bit her lips lightly, her face pale. You know, Wang Tianhai is a very scary person. In the Jiang political and business circles, everyone has to give him face. Jiang Yang said calmly, "It's okay, it's just Wang Tianhai, don't worry." However, seeing Jiang Yang's foolish look, Li Qianqian was immediately irritated, and said angrily, "Don't worry. Jiang Yang, do you know how powerful Wang Tianhai is in Jianghai?" "Yes. Your friend can fight a little, but can he deal with Wang Tianhai on his own?" "Who told you that he was going to deal with Wang Tianhai on his own?" Jiang Yang frowned. "Then, do you still want to compete with Wang Tianhai in terms of manpower? Do you know that Wang Tianhai has 500 or 600 men under him? How many people can you call? Are you his opponent?" Li Qianqian became angrier and angrier as she spoke. "Childish. You are so childish. You do things without considering the consequences. This is the end. Maybe even I will be implicated. If you want to die, don't drag me down with you." Listening to Li Qianqian's complaints, Jiang Yang's face became more and more ugly. When he heard the last sentence, he was completely enraged. "Li Qianqian. That's enough." Jiang Yang roared, and after Li Qianqian shut up, he angrily said, "I did all this just to help you. When Zhang Yuan laughed at you just now, I could have turned around and left. But I stayed here, wasn't it just to help you? Not only do you not thank me, but you also keep blaming me here? Fine. Fine. It seems that I helped you in the wrong way. I was too sentimental. I'm such a fucking jerk." After hearing these words, Li Qianqian was stunned for a moment. She realized that her words seemed a bit too much. After a long while, she stammered, "Jiang Yang, I didn't mean that. That's enough. Stop talking." Jiang Yang said impatiently, "Wang Tianhai is mainly targeting me. He won't attack a woman like you. Don't worry. Then what will you do?" Li Qianqian bit her lip lightly and hesitated for a while before she uttered these words. "It's none of your business." Jiang Yang suppressed his anger, said this, and turned and left. Looking at his gradually receding back, Li Qianqian was stunned for a moment. She opened her mouth, but in the end, nothing came out. Royal Villa. In the living room, a man in his 40s with a scar on his forehead sat on the sofa with his legs crossed. In front of him lay a bald man with his limbs in plaster. "It's Jiangzi." After Wang Xiao came back, he told Wang Tianhai about Jiangzi's disobedience to him. Wang Tianhai immediately had Jiangzi brought over and beat him half to death. Jiangzi was in such a miserable state at this moment. There was not a single piece of healthy flesh on his body. He was lying on the ground, dying. "Jiangzi, how many benefits did Jiang Yang give you to make a dog like you dare to disobey even his master's words?" Wang Xiao squatted beside Jiangzi, pinched his chin and sneered. Chapter 26. 3 days later. Jiangzi raised his head with difficulty, opened his eyes dazedly, and said with a weak breath, "Young Master Wang, he didn't do me any good, he really can't be provoked." "Fuck you. You can't mess with me. Let me tell you, Zhang Hu has already taken people to find Jiang Yang. I want to show you how he was killed by Zhang Hu," Wang Xiao said viciously. Zhang Hu is his father's most trusted subordinate. He is young but ruthless. As long as he takes action, Jiang Yang will never be able to get out of bed again in his life unless he dies. "Brother." At this moment, a chaotic sound of footsteps suddenly came from outside. Then there was a knock on the villar's door. "It must be Zhang Hu coming back to report. I'll go open the door now." Wang Xiao hurried to open the door, and Wang Tianhai followed him. But after the door opened, they were all dumbfounded. Zhang Hu is indeed back. But he was carried back by the crowd. His limbs were twisted in strange postures and he was unconscious. Hiss. Seeing Zhang Hu's miserable condition, Wang Tianhai and his son both gasped. "What's going on? Why did Zhang Hu become like this?" Wang Tianhai's voice was trembling. "You know, Zhang Hu is his most trusted subordinate." Several thugs quickly told Wang Tianhai what had just happened. After hearing this, Wang Tianhai was completely stunned. "What? He beat down more than a dozen of you all by himself?" "That's right. They also asked us to bring you a message." "What are you talking about?" Several thugs looked at each other and said cautiously, "They said that if you dare to attack Jiang Yang again, they will take your life." Boom. As soon as these words came out, a very terrifying murderous intent suddenly burst out from Wang Tianhai. His face became extremely ferocious because of anger. How can this be possible? How many years? He couldn't remember how many years it had been since anyone dared to threaten him like this. He is Wang Qianhai. At the age of 13, he ventured into society alone. With his fighting spirit and fearlessness, he scared away countless people and eventually made a name for himself in the world. Became a legend in Jianghai City. But now, not only someone dares to threaten him. He also beat his son and eliminated his confidants. This is simply a slap in his own face. Damn it. It seems like I haven't shown up in a long time. Young people nowadays don't know how terrifying I am. You guys. Pass on my order. Have the second and third brothers come to my villa to discuss matters. Immediately. Right now. 3 days later, I will let my name shock the entire Jianghai again. He was really angry this time. The youngest son was beaten and the confidant was dismissed. This proves that his authority in Jianghai has declined. This time, he wanted to kill the chicken to scare the monkeys, and by dealing with Jiang Yang, he wanted to shock all those who looked down on him. However, when Xiangzi heard these words, he became completely panicked. Brother! We can't touch Jiang Yang. If we touch him, we will surely die. Brother! I'm telling you the truth, Jiang Yang's sister is actually. Before Xiangzi finished speaking, Wang Qianhai interrupted him and sneered, Xiangzi, I advise you to stop talking like that. Because you have been with me for many years, I don't want to touch you. But if you keep insisting on being stubborn, I don't mind killing you first. Someone, lock him up for me. I want him to see with his own eyes how I killed Jiang Yang. Chapter 27, Trembling Rivers and Seas. Wang Qianhai was really angry. He couldn't remember how long it had been since anyone dared to be so rude to him. So he wants to make a show of force to scare the tiger. He wanted to kill Jiang Yang to let everyone in Jianghai understand that even though he was old, his status could not be shaken by others. The news that Wang Qianhai was gathering people and preparing to deal with Jiang Yang in 3 days spread throughout Jianghai in just one afternoon. Whether it is the business, political circles or the underworld, everyone is shocked. They all expressed that they would stand on Wang Qianhai's side. Even the big bosses of the underground world in several surrounding cities, in order to please Wang Qianhai, said that they would bring people to the scene in 3 days to lend a helping hand to Wang Qianhai. This matter almost became the focus of discussion among everyone in Jianghai after dinner and before tea. Many of them don't know who Jiang Yang is. But they only knew one thing. This young man is probably doomed to die if he dares to offend Wang Qianhai in Jianghai. No one that Wang Qianhai wanted to kill has survived. When this news came out, some people were happy and some were worried. Xu family. Living room. When Wang Xiao told Xu Qingqing and her parents the news, they were so happy that they almost jumped up from the ground. Mr. Wang. Really? Is your father really planning to kill Jiang Yang in 3 days? Xu Qingqing looked at Mr. Wang opposite her with excitement. Wang Xiao nodded and said proudly, that's right. Not only that, the bosses of the underground worlds in the surrounding cities will also be there. Their combined manpower will be at least 1 or 2,000 people. This is definitely the largest scale operation in the Jianghai underground world in decades. 1 or 2,000 people. Xu Qingqing and her parents took a deep breath. 1 or 2,000 people. What kind of concept is this? If every one of them kicks him, Jiang Yang could be kicked to death. Jiang Yang is probably going to die this time. Serves him right. He really deserves it. Li Guilan laughed, let him beat me last time. I want to see if he dies this time. They were not worried at all that Jiang Yang would get the news and escape early. Because with Wang Qianhai's ability, he can definitely block the entire river and sea, making it impossible for him to escape. Mr. Wang. When that day comes, can I go with you to take a look? Xu Qingqing asked expectantly. She wanted to see how Jiang Yang was killed by Wang Qianhai. Of course. Wang Xiao agreed immediately, it's just a matter of one word from me. Mr. Wang. You are so nice. Xu Qingqing hugged Mr. Wang tightly, with a sneer in her heart. Jiang Yang, this loser, still wants me to return the more than 1 million to him? Let him survive first. At the same time, in the old dean's compound. In a study room. The old dean sat on a throne. In front of him was his son, Li Qianqian's father, Li Xingban. At this moment, both of them looked extremely solemn. Because they also heard that Wang Qianhai was going to deal with Jiang Yang. Jiang Yang grew up under the care of the old dean, who had long since treated him as his own grandson. How could he possibly watch him get into trouble? Is there any way to save him from Wang Tianhai? The old dean asked in a deep voice. When Li Xingbang was young, he often mingled in society. Because of his good skills, he had served as a bodyguard for many important figures, so he had some connections in Jianghai and had met Wang Tianhai several times. Li Xingbang had a gloomy face and shook his head. It's difficult. Wang Tianhai's action this time is not just about dealing with Jiang Yang. The most important thing is to kill a chicken to scare the monkeys and kill one to warn the hunter to consolidate his position in Jianghai. Besides, Jiang Yang beat up Wang Xiao and crippled Zhang Hu. If Wang Tianhai lets Jiang Yang go, he will probably become a laughingstock in the whole Jianghai. Hearing this, the old dean slumped down in his chair, a look of despair on his face. Is there really no way to save Xiao Yang? He is only in his 20s. Is he going to? Alas. No, Mom, there is actually one last way to save Jiang Yang. At this time, Li Xingbang suddenly said. What should I do? Before the old dean finished speaking, his pupils suddenly shrank. You mean? Li Xingbang nodded seriously. That's right. As long as we can mobilize the power of the Li family in the provincial capital, destroying Wang Tianhai will be as easy as crushing an ant. Chapter 28 Phone. The Li family in the provincial capital is one of the 4 major families in Jiangbei province. Its energy is absolutely beyond imagination. The old dean's family is actually a branch of the Li family in the provincial capital. However, 20 years ago, they were expelled from the Li family for some reasons, and people were sent to hunt them down. The old dean's husband sacrificed himself to buy his family a chance to escape. Finally, the old dean took his family and fled to Jianghai city, hiding their identities and thus escaped the disaster. No. Don't even think about this. The old dean shook his head vigorously. Although the Li family has stopped sending people to hunt us down now, that's only because they don't know where we are. Once they get to know us, they will kill our entire family at all costs. Facing Wang Tianhai, they may still have a glimmer of hope. But facing the Li family, there is absolutely no possibility of survival for them. Li Xingbang pondered for a while and said, Mom, you should know that with our current strength, it will be difficult to stop Wang Tianhai. I know, but I still want you to give it a try. Son, at this critical moment, I'm afraid you are the only one who can save Xiao Yang. If you don't take care of him, he will definitely die. The old dean sighed. However, I will not force you. It is up to you to decide whether to help or not. Li Xingbang fell silent. Wang Tianhai's move this time is very big. If you help Jiang Yang, you might end up getting him involved as well. But if I don't help, the old dean will be sad for a while. Moreover, although he felt that Jiang Yang was not worthy of his daughter, after all, he had watched Jiang Yang grow up. I remember that when Jiang Yang was a child, he would often ride on his neck and play with him. He also couldn't bear to let Jiang Yang die at the hands of Wang Tianhai. Bang! Just as Li Xingbang was hesitating, the door of the study was suddenly pushed open. Li Qianqian staggered in. He grabbed Li Xingbang's arm and panted, Dad. Something terrible has happened. Wang Tianhai has said that he is going to deal with Jiang Yang. We already know. Li Xingbang interrupted her. Then Dad. You must save Jiang Yang. Li Qianqian looked anxious. She had just been working at the company. When she heard the news, she ran back home immediately. She ran so fast that even the stockings on her feet were worn out. Jiang Yang's predicament is closely related to me. Li Qianqian hurriedly informed Li Xingbang that Jiang Yang had helped her deal with Zhang Yuan and Zhang Hu. Li Xingbang fell silent for a moment. The old dean also frowned. Son. If this is the case, then you should save Jiang Yang even more. After all, he is also doing it for Qian Qian. Li Xingbang said nothing for a while before he raised his head and gritted his teeth. Okay. In that case, I will help Jiang Yang, but I can't guarantee that I can save him. It's okay, just do your best, said the old dean. Next, Li Xingbang took out his cell phone, opened the address book, and prepared to find someone to help him. As long as we find more prominent figures to attack and pressure Wang Tianhai together, even Wang Tianhai will probably have to think twice before taking any action. Hey, Mr. Zhao, are you still busy? Hey, Brother Li, why are you in the mood to call me today? Is there something wrong? Har har. There is indeed something, but it's a bit tricky. Just say it if you have something to say. What's the relationship between us? Okay. Here's the thing. You should have heard about the incident between Wang Tianhai and Jiang Yang. To be honest, Jiang Yang is a relative of mine. I want you to help me save my relative. Beep. However, before he could finish his words, the other party hung up the phone. Chapter 29 Action. Li Xingbang was stunned for a while and made another call. Hey, Mr. Sun, I have something to ask you. What's the matter, Brother Li? You must have heard about Wang Tianhai and Jiang Yang. To be honest, Jiang Yang is a relative of mine. However, before he could finish his words, Mr. Sun exploded. Fuck. You don't want me to help you save him, do you? Fuck you. Wang Tianhai called over 1,000 people this time. If you want to die, don't drag me along with you. From now on, we don't know each other. The call ends. Li Xinban had a very ugly face and his fists were clenched. The two people he just found are both entrepreneurs with relatively great influence in Jianghai. They didn't dare to intervene in this matter, which proved how serious the matter was. Dad. Li Qianqian bit her lips lightly and called out. Li Xinban said solemnly, it doesn't matter. It's better to rely on yourself than on others. When the day comes, I will go there in person to see if I can mediate. At the very least, I will try my best to save Jiang Yang's life. Now that things have come to this, there is nothing else we can do. Li Qianqian clenched her fists, lowered her head, and her eyes were red. Although she usually acts like she hates Jiang Yang. But after all, she has known Jiang Yang for more than 20 years. How could a relationship of more than 20 years be broken off just like that? Qingshui Villa area. Qin Yuran's villa. In the living room, Jiang Yang was sitting on the sofa, and opposite him was Qin Yuran, who had a frosty face. Humph, Wang Tianhai, you overestimate your own abilities. How dare you even touch my Qin Yuran's brother? Qin Yuran's tone was very cold. Brother, you don't have to be afraid. With big sister here, no one can touch you. Jiang Yang nodded, and his cell phone suddenly rang. Brother-in-law. Where are you? You run quickly. I heard from my sister that Wang Tianhai wants to deal with you. It was Xu Xinshin who called. Jiang Yang was stunned for a moment, then said, Xinshin, don't worry about this matter, I have my own way to deal with it. Xu Xinshin was anxious. Oh. Brother-in-law. Don't be so stubborn. That's Wang Tianhai. We can't defeat him. Hurry up. As a result, before she could finish her words, Li Guilan's voice suddenly came from the other end of the line. Xinshin. Why did you tip off that loser? He's going to die soon. Why don't you hang up the phone? Beep. Hearing the call being hung up, Jiang Yang put down his phone and looked out at the hazy night with deep eyes. 3 days passed in a flash. Today is not only the last day of the 3-day appointment between Jiang Yang and Xu Qingqing. It was also the day when Wang Tianhai was going to take action against Jiang Yang. As soon as night fell today, Wang Tianhai and others began to take action. More than 1,000 of them were divided into 5 groups and moved towards the Qingshui Villa area. Not only that, they also informed the police. No matter what happens tonight, they must not interfere. On this night, the streets of the entire Jianghai city were cleared and under martial law, and there was not a single person in sight. Occasionally, if a child accidentally runs out, they will be immediately dragged back home by their parents and the door will be locked. Because they all know that today is an extraordinary day. Wang Tianhai summoned more than 1,000 members of the underground world to prepare to deal with Jiang Yang. This can be said to be the largest scale operation in the Jianghai underground world in decades. The Qingshui Villa area was also unusually quiet tonight. Those who can live here are all well-known figures in Jianghai. They also heard the news that Wang Tianhai would come here tonight to deal with Jiang Yang. Therefore, all the upper-class people living here stayed away from here tonight, not daring to get close, for fear of being implicated. For a moment, the huge villa area was pitch black. Only Qin Yuran's villa had the lights on. At this moment, outside the door of Qin Yuran's villa, Mr. Qin, Wang Tianhai leads the underground forces from several surrounding cities, a total of 1,500 people, divided into 5 groups, and are moving towards the Qingshui Villa area. Li Xingqian bowed slightly and looked at Qin Yuran in front of him, respectfully. Qin Yuran was wrapped in a thin silk nightgown. The cool summer breeze blew her hair, but her face was covered with frost. Har har. Wang Tianhai, you overestimate your own abilities. With only 1,500 people, you still want to fight me, Qin Yuran. You really don't want to live anymore. Har har. Qin Yuran sneered, looked at Jiang Yang beside her, and gently pulled his hand. Brother, don't worry, I'm here, no one can touch you tonight. Chapter 30, Stunning the Mountain. Okay? Jiang Yang's heart was moved and his eyes became slightly moist. My second sister Liu Xiaojie is not here today. Jiang Yang and Qin Yuran did not tell her about this. In Qin Yuran's words, Liu Xiaojie is very busy, so there is no need to let her know about such trivial matters. At this moment, not far from the Qingshui Villa district, there is a huge open space. About 1,500 people have assembled. They each held a sharp blade and looked murderous. In front of them, Wang Qianhai, wearing a black windbreaker, stood facing the wind. His eyes were extremely gloomy and he exuded a terrifying aura. Next to him were the big bosses of the underground world in several surrounding cities, as well as his son and future daughter-in-law Xu Qingqing. Xu Qingqing was so excited when she saw this huge crowd of people. Although I don't know why that loser Jiang Yang is in the Qingshui Villa district. But tonight no one can stop the fact that he will be chopped into meat sauce. Looking at the dark Qingshui Villa district not far away, Wang Qianhai raised a cold smile. Jiang Yang, har har. You reckless kid, you dare to challenge my authority. I want to see if you can survive tonight. As soon as he finished speaking, a middle-aged man with a face full of flesh came forward from behind him and said, Brother, give the order. The brothers can't wait any longer. He is Wang Qianhai's second brother. Wang Qianhai started working out at the age of 13. After he achieved some success in Jianghai, he brought his two younger brothers from his hometown to help him. Second brother, don't be anxious, there is still one person who hasn't arrived yet. Wang Qianhai said with a smile. After hearing this, the second brother couldn't help but tremble, and said in horror, Brother, you mean, the third brother? The third one. As soon as this name came out, many people present gasped and expressions of fear appeared on their faces. The third one is Wang Qianhai's third brother. He does not have the foresight of Wang Qianhai, nor the business acumen of the second brother. But he has one thing that his two brothers don't have. That's cruel. Be ruthless to your enemies and be ruthless to yourself. When the third brother was young, he liked to fight with others. It is said that once, he fought for territory with others on behalf of Wang Qianhai, and the other party spent a large sum of money to hire a madman who was willing to risk his life. The madman held a dagger in his hand and stabbed the third brother in the stomach as soon as he came on the stage. But the third brother not only did not dodge, but instead took out his dagger and hurt each other with the madman. You give me a knife, I give you a knife. In the end, the madman was actually frightened to his knees and begged for mercy. From then on, the word Lao-san was used to make people shudder in the whole Jianghai area. There is also a saying circulating in the underground world. I would rather provoke Wang Qianhai than the third brother. This is enough to prove how terrifying the third brother is. Brother, is it just a deal with a piece of trash? Is it necessary for the third brother to come? Speaking of the third brother, even the second brother couldn't help but shiver. Wang Qianhai sneered, Second brother, there are some things you don't understand. Do you think that the reason I called so many people here and made such a big scene is just to deal with that loser Jiang Yang? If I just wanted to deal with him, would I have to make such a fuss? Brother, what you mean is? The second brother asked in confusion. To establish my authority. Wang Qianhai's eyes flashed with ruthlessness. Humph. I haven't taken action for too long. Some people in Jianghai think that I'm old and easy to bully. This time I want to let them know that I, Wang Qianhai, will never be someone that small fry like them can mess with. Wang Qianhai is also very optimistic about the effectiveness of his attempt to scare the enemy. Those who had looked down on him in the past all hid at home tonight and did not even dare to go out. There are even many people who have offended him who express their willingness to be his dogs and serve him forever. Brother. At this time, a figure gradually walked out of the darkness not far away. This is a man in his 30s with a cruel face and a pair of fierce triangular eyes, which makes him look extremely terrifying. Third brother, you're here. Wang Qianhai looked at the man and said with a smile. At the same time, those who were closest to Wang Qianhai subconsciously took a step back, fearing that they would accidentally provoke the third brother. Brother, I'm sorry, I was late because of something else. I hope I didn't delay anything. The third brother said grimly. No, we just arrived too. Wang Qianhai said with a smile. The third brother nodded. Well, big brother, since everyone is here, let's set off quickly. Otherwise, something unexpected will happen if we take too long. Okay. I'll listen to you then. Wang Tianhai took a deep breath and looked up at the dark Qingshui Villa district. A fierce light flashed in his eyes. Everyone listen up. Follow me and charge into the Qingshui Villa district. No one related to Jiang Yang will be spared. After the success, I will hold a huge celebration banquet, and everyone will not leave until they are drunk. Let's go. Chapter 31 Li Xinbang arrives. Now. Outside Qin Yuran's villa. Is everything ready? Have our three little helpers arrived? Qin Yuran crossed his arms and looked at Li Xingchen coldly. Li Xingchen bowed slightly. Boss Qin, don't worry, they have arrived and are nearby. Although Li Xingchen said so. But what was strange was that, apart from the three of them, there was no one else around the villa. Qin Yuran nodded. Just as she was about to say something, her eyes suddenly became stern and she looked behind her. Who's there? Come out. Anyone? Jiang Yang and Li Xingchen also looked over. Then a figure was seen jogging out from the darkness. It's Li Xinbang. Behind him, there were 6 or 7 middle-aged men following closely. These people are all very good brothers of Li Xinbang. They are friends who are willing to die for each other. Li Xinbang specially invited them here today to rescue Jiang Yang. Uncle Li? Why are you here? Jiang Yang was a little surprised. Li Xinbang and the others trotted to Jiang Yang, panting, Xiao Yang. Wang Tianhai and the others will be here soon, hurry up and follow us, we have already prepared the car on the small road behind. After these words were spoken, Jiang Yang and the other two were stunned for a moment. Afterwards, Qin Yuran couldn't help but sneered, leave. Is it necessary for a mere Wang Tianhai to leave? Only then did Li Xinbang notice Qin Yuran. When he saw Qin Yuran's face, he was stunned for a moment, as if he had seen this woman somewhere before. Little girl, are you also Xie Yang's friend? I advise you not to underestimate Wang Tianhai. He is leading 1,500 people now. If he comes, we will be finished. Li Xinbang's brothers who were determined to fight for his life and death also tried to dissuade him. Yes, little girl, I think you are not from Jianghai. You don't know how terrifying Wang Tianhai is. You should hurry up and follow us. No need, Qin Yuran said coldly, my men are ready. Wang Tianhai can't do anything to us. Upon hearing this, Li Xinbang and others all looked strange. Man and horse. The area around the villa was empty. Apart from Jiang Yang and the other two, there was no one else in sight. Where do these people come from? Seeing that he couldn't reason with her, Li Xinbang quickly looked at Jiang Yang, trying to persuade Jiang Yang to go with him. But it's too late. At this moment, there was a sudden commotion right in front. Immediately afterwards, accompanied by earth-shaking footsteps, a group of gangsters rushed into the Qingshui Villa area like a tide. The huge crowd filled the entire villa area almost in an instant. The leader was Wang Tianhai and a group of key personnel. Jiang Yang. Are you ready to die for me? Wang Sha stood not far from Jiang Yang and roared. Xu Qingqing also stood at the front, looking at Jiang Yang with a smug look on her face. Jiang Yang, tell me, you can live, why do you want to die? If you hadn't come to provoke me that day, would this have happened? After hearing the other party's threats, Jiang Yang and the other two remained calm, except Li Xinbang and the others, whose faces turned pale with fear. There are 1,500 people here. If they all attack together, Jiang Yang will not even be able to leave a complete corpse. Li Xinbang hurriedly ran towards Wang Tianhai. Brother Wang. Brother Wang, wait a moment. Hearing someone calling him, Wang Tianhai looked over subconsciously, and then was surprised. Hey, isn't this Brother Li? I didn't expect that Brother Wang still remembered me. Li Xinbang smiled awkwardly. Of course. After all, Brother Li, you were once the best fighter in Jianghai. Wang Tianhai laughed and said, but what are you doing here, Brother Li? Are you here to help me kill Jiang Yang? You are really nice. Chapter 32, Battle. No, Brother Wang, you misunderstood. Li Xinbang looked embarrassed. Oh? Then who are you? Wang Tianhai frowned. Li Xinbang pointed at Jiang Yang and said, Brother Wang, to be honest, Jiang Yang is my relative. Hearing this, Wang Tianhai was stunned for a moment, and his face gradually became gloomy. Oh? So, Brother Li came here today to help him. Wang Tianhai said in a deep voice. Yes, so I hope Brother Wang can give me some face and let him go. Bang! But before Li Xingbang could finish his words, Wang Shao suddenly rushed forward and slapped him hard. Fuck you. Give you face. Who the hell do you think you are? You're just a dog, and you still want to save Jiang Yang. Li Xingbang felt a pain on his face and his brows suddenly frowned. The brothers beside him who were determined to fight for their lives clenched their fists, full of murderous intent. Li Xingbang suppressed the humiliation in his heart and looked at Wang Tianhai. Brother Wang, can't you just let him go for my sake? Even if you have to cripple him, at least you can spare his life. No, I must kill Jiang Yang today. No one's face will matter. Wang Tianhai sneered. Brother Wang, does that mean there is no chance of recovery in this matter? Li Xingbang's face gradually darkened, and his eyes flashed with cold light. Wang Tianhai sneered, unless I die. Otherwise, Jiang Yang will definitely die today. Yeah. Li Xingbang was silent for a while, then he suddenly raised his head, his face became ferocious. In that case, Brother Wang, please forgive me for offending you. Brothers, come on. Capture Wang Tianhai alive. Save Jiang Yang. Li Xingbang shouted loudly. The brothers behind him, without any hesitation, roared and rushed directly towards Wang Tianhai. Before coming, Li Xingbang had already told them that he would save Jiang Yang today. If Jiang Yang doesn't leave, or can't leave, then obey his orders and capture Wang Tianhai alive. Wang Tianhai, surrender. If you want to touch Jiang Yang today, you will have to step over our dead bodies. However, Wang Tianhai was not panicked at all. Instead, he looked at the people who were rushing towards him with a playful expression. Just when those people were about to reach him, a figure suddenly flashed out from behind him. It was the third brother with a fierce look on his face. A bunch of rubbish, you still want to touch my big brother? Die. The third brother rushed into the crowd and started punching and kicking. In less than a minute, all of Li Xingbang's brothers fell to the ground. Either their arms were broken or their legs were broken. They were groaning in pain and had completely lost the ability to resist. Brother! Seeing this scene, Li Xingbang's eyes instantly turned red and he yelled. These people are all his best brothers. But now they are all wasted. You, Wang Tianhai. I can never coexist with you. Li Xingbang roared. Har har. Just you? Let's put it this way, Li Xingbang, you just want to save Jiang Yang, right? I can give you a chance. Wang Tianhai looked at Li Xingbang with a sneer on his face, thought for a moment and said, aren't you known as the best fighter in Jianghai in the past? As long as you can beat my third brother, I will not only spare you and your brothers, but I will also release Jiang Yang. How about that? Hearing this, Li Xingbang's pupils shrank sharply. Are you serious? Can I lie in front of so many people? Wang Tianhai sneered, what do you think? Do you dare? Dare? Why not? Li Xingbang gritted his teeth, I hope you won't regret it when the time comes. Har har, no problem. Wang Tianhai winked at the third brother. The third brother immediately stepped forward, put on a pair of brass knuckles, and looked at Li Xingbang provocatively. Har har, kid, I'm telling you in advance, I won't show mercy to you. If you lose, I'm sorry, you and your brothers will all be buried here today. Humph. That depends on whether you have the ability. Li Xingbang roared, clenched his fists, and rushed towards the third brother. Boom! In an instant, the two of them started fighting. Countless fists bombarded each other with all their might. However, surprisingly, facing Li Xingbang's powerful fist, the third brother did not dodge or evade, allowing those fists to hit him as if he did not feel any pain. He even laughed like a madman. Har har. Is this the ability of the former number one master? This strength isn't enough to tickle me. In that case, there's no need for me to waste time. After he finished speaking, the third brother sneered and punched Li Xingbang in the chest. Puff! Li Xingbang flew backwards instantly, spitting out a large mouthful of blood, and lost the ability to resist. Chapter 33 Pillar. Har har! Seeing this scene, Wang Tianhai laughed triumphantly. Everyone, bear witness here. From today on, my third brother will be the new number one expert in Jianghai. This was the purpose of letting the third brother challenge Li Xingbang. He just wanted so many people to see that Li Xingbang was already a thing of the past. The current top expert in Jianghai is his younger brother. He is Wang Tianhai's younger brother. At the same time, the morale of the 1,500 thugs behind him also soared. They were showing off their might and their blood was boiling. Puff. However, at this moment, a sudden laugh suddenly broke this harmonious scene. Everyone was stunned for a moment and looked over. Only then did he realize that there was a woman standing next to Jiang Yang. Although it was too dark to see her face clearly, I could still tell from her vaguely visible body that she must be a great beauty. "You stinky cousin! What are you laughing at?" Hearing Qin Yuran's laughter with a hint of sarcasm, the third brother instantly got angry. Qin Yuran laughed at him. "I laugh at you for being frogs in a well. With your lousy skills, you claim to be the best fighter in Jianghai? It's true that when there is no tiger in the mountain, the monkey becomes king." As soon as these words were spoken, Wang Qianhai and others all changed their expressions. This woman, is calling them monkeys. The next moment, Wang Qianhai and others were instantly enraged. "You stinky bitch, you, how dare you call us monkeys? I'm going to rape you today." The third brother was furious, his face flushed. Xu Qingqing also shouted at the side, "Yes. Rape her. Let her see how powerful we are." Xu Qingqing actually has another idea. Although she couldn't see Qin Yuran's face clearly, she could feel from her looming figure that she must be as beautiful as herself. If Wang Xiao saw this, he would definitely fall in love with someone else. So Xu Qingqing was jealous and wanted to take the opportunity to destroy Qin Yuran. "Brother, give the order. Let these ignorant trash see how powerful we are." The second brother was so angry that his face turned red and his whole body was shaking. Wang Qianhai looked at Jiang Yang with cold eyes, a hint of contempt at the corner of his mouth. Har har, where did this stinky woman come from? She really doesn't know her place. Since you can't wait to die, I will grant your wish. Brothers, listen up. Kill Jiang Yang and capture this woman alive. Kill. At the command. Countless thugs instantly raised the machetes in their hands and rushed towards Jiang Yang and others like a flood. The third brother took the lead and rushed to the front, wanting to be the first to achieve success. 1,500 people, their footsteps shook the earth, making the entire ground tremble violently. Li Xingban, who was lying on the ground, saw this scene and his face was filled with despair. Finished. If 15,000 people come together, even if one person steps on him, it will be enough to crush Jiang Yang to death. I'm afraid that not only Jiang Yang, but all of them will die here tonight. Brothers, I have harmed you. However, just as Wang Qianhai and others were about to reach Jiang Yang and others, a figure suddenly flashed by like lightning, blocking the way of Wang Qianhai and others. Boom! At the same time, an extremely powerful aura burst out from that person. This terrifying aura actually made 1,500 people stop in their tracks. This person is none other than Jiangbei King Li Xingqian. He stood alone in front of 1,500 people, and his powerful aura made those 1,500 people dare not take another step forward. One man can block the pass, 10,000 men cannot break through. Everyone was so frightened by his terrifying aura that they dared not move and just stared at him blankly. Even the third brother, who was so arrogant just now, didn't dare to take a step forward, and cold sweat was pouring down his forehead. Suddenly, Wang Qianhai and other big names in the underground world recognized this man. Their pupils shrank sharply and their faces were filled with disbelief. Jiangbei King Li Xingqian. Why are you here? Wang Qianhai and others are all big bosses of the underground world in a city in Jiangbei province. Of course they recognize Li Xingqian. You know, Li Xingqian is a legend in the entire Jiangbei province. He is also the object of their most admiration. Li Xingqian sneered, "Not only am I here, they are all here." Li Xingqian suddenly pointed to the darkness not far away. Wang Qianhai and others took a look. Then three figures slowly walked out of the darkness. Boom! The next moment, Wang Qianhai and others' brains exploded. Eastern King Yao Qian. King Han Wuji of the West. Southern King Zhao Junlin. Including Jiangbei King Li Xingqian, the pillars of the entire Daxia underground world are all here. Chapter 34. My name is Qin Yuran. Northern King Li Xingqian. Eastern King Yao Qian. Western King Han Wuji. Southern King Zhao Junlin. These four people are all legends in the underground world of Daxia. Just stomping your feet can make the whole Daxia tremble. But now, the four of them have appeared in Jianghai. This inconspicuous fourth-tier city. Under the gazes of everyone around him, Lin Feng slowly walked down the stairs. Halfway down, a foot stretched out from the side, but Lin Feng avoided it. Lin Feng's figure burst out, and the dragon god in his hand directly turned into countless clones at this moment. The elegant man in white clothes nodded in understanding. The mysterious, dangerous, and imposing man in black was everywhere in Xinxiang Palace. With so many people around, it was inevitable that something would go wrong if he continued talking. In just a moment, she had already seen all the English abbreviations on the three skulls clearly. In addition, the models had previously shown the audience the photos in their hands, so it was easy for her to match the three skulls one by one. Just when the war was about to break out, Wu Li and Deng Chao, who finally stopped crying and laughing, opened up the second clue together. But at this time, these people's faces became numb, as if they had no consciousness at all, and they didn't listen to his explanation at all. It is a soldier's duty to obey orders. This is my order. Does anyone want to question it? Ikader Hengxing's lifeless eyes silently swept across everyone. In this ball, Lin Feng incorporated violence, 9 changes, the ultimate violence, 10 times more powerful than the original ball. The dangerous crocodile surfaced and swam towards the bait. Yi and Estetha's breath was hidden very well, and the dangerous crocodile obviously did not detect their breath. Yi Chen, come here and look at this. Yuan Li called Yi Chen over to him in surprise. Lin Fengyang knew this very well, but he did not refute it. The truth of this world is completely beyond people's cognition. It is not something that people will believe just by repeating it a few times. In fact, if you say it in an inappropriate occasion, once you are labeled as a liar, the first impression formed will be difficult to erase. He didn't expect that the dark red gas could increase a person's strength so terribly after driving him crazy. No matter what his cultivation level was, it could increase his strength to a higher level. The purple lightning dragon was extremely excited, as if it saw itself about to break through to the sect master level, and its body was surrounded by thick purple lightning. If she only looked at Yang Shu's age and cultivation, she would be somewhat uneasy, but after seeing his previous methods, this last bit of doubt disappeared. Gangzi did not have too many regrets about the sinking of their Flying Dutchman. After all, he had used 2 legendary battleships and a large number of secret weapons to kill Hobart, and it would be too unfair if he could not sink it. Fang Yuyang took a 9 p.m. flight and it was already noon the next day when he got home. Fang Yusin didn't go out that day and stayed at home with Bai Qianqian, which made Bai Qianqian very happy. He followed Fang Yusin wherever Fang Yusin went. What is your plan? What is the purpose of taking away the ice and fire Qilin map? Yang Shu asked directly. All the things they were supposed to exchange for were given to them in full, and each person was given 10 horses as compensation, in the hope that they would come to the grassland with abundant goods next year. As soon as the 3 of them entered, someone who witnessed them entering the Divine Emperor battlefield together spread the news. Yang Yang looked at Kang Haohan with some worry. She knew how it felt to be denied by the person you loved, but she was also grateful to Qin Mengdai for doing this. Rutuber stretched out his hand, grabbed the opponent's head, pulled it hard, pulled the golem's head directly off, and threw it aside casually. Chapter 35, Domineering Qin Yuran. Xu Qingqing simply didn't want to believe her eyes. What did she see? A beauty who is countless times more beautiful than himself is holding Jiang Yang's hand intimately at this moment. Moreover, the reason why she cheated was because Jiang Yang had no money. But now, Jiang Yang is on the list of a billionaire worth hundreds of billions. Lingshu Finger is a simple spell that uses a special method to compress the magic power at the fingertips and then shoots it out, causing a certain amount of damage. Tai Shiqing brought the master with him in the vast wilderness. As long as they didn't do anything stupid, basically nothing would happen. Besides, when the passage to Ping'an Town was opened, Yuan Xiche's people would follow. After applying the snow-white essence on her hands, the backs of her hands became moisturized and shiny. Although the wrinkles were still there, they were much lighter. An elegant young man from aristocratic family, holding a wine cup, turned his head silently and looked in the direction of the mansion. The victory of the Rebellion Suppression Army was not a happy thing for him. Before the Soul King could say anything, the 2 men attacked Zhu Zhuqing in revenge for their second brother. This time they were even more ruthless, only intent on avenging their second brother. So Alice detonated the self-destructive doll in the ring, causing the entire upper level of the Millennium Mine to collapse. Chen Jing lowered his head and began to think. When dealing with someone like Sima, you must be alert. Otherwise, you may be sold out and help count the money. On January 20th, Espanol officially announced that Levi has started individual training and is expected to return in the second round of La Liga against Uelver. There must be something fishy going on here. Unless she did something, how could the scratches disappear? She sneered in her heart. But there was no way to arrest anyone without evidence. Xian Yuanbo didn't say anything. As long as he followed Xian Yuan Guangming, all his questions would be answered one by one. Tell me. What is your purpose in approaching the master? Seeing that I ignored her, Murong Ningyue raised her voice, drew out her sword, and pointed the tip of the sword at my face. Although there are no surveillance cameras in the house, there are surveillance cameras installed in the yard. Let's see if he has gone out. Chu Yangran said. Zihan exhaled, opened his eyes and said, "Come on." Zihan's eyes revealed a strong desire to fight. At this moment, Zihan seemed to have returned to the time when he was fighting in the ancient tomb, full of fighting spirit. He was deeply moved when he found that the archer corps ignored the enemy's siege and concentrated all their efforts on protecting themselves. Chen Mo thought that his expression in the copy was perfect, yet he was ranked 2356th in the elementary universe. It was conceivable how terrible this elementary universe was. On the entire Earth, perhaps only Chen Mo knew best at this moment how terrible a threat the Earth would face in the future. In terms of scheming, Lu Feng is no match for Ma Susu. After being frightened by Ma Susu's bluffing, he immediately became timid and did as Ma Susu asked. In the past year that we have lived here, I have not seen him have much close contact with the villagers, yet now he is willing to sacrifice everything for them. Long Ouqian said, "Hey, a good man has ambitions. It's right for him to go out and explore the world. If I hadn't gone out to explore the world when I was young, how would I have met you?" Har har har. After saying that, Long Ouqian hugged Sun Yu and laughed. Seeing this reply, Shu Hui felt a chill in his heart. Thinking about it carefully, it seemed so. Only jobs with high turnover rate would pay a certain amount of money based on how many days they have worked. For example, the probation period for most companies is 3 months or more. Why would they recruit on Shangpin.com? Yunxi didn't know how to respond. She said that she believed she didn't want to hurt her. Did she just want to hurt Jin Zhengwo? As for Yarn Yi, he had been extremely happy since he saw the angel. As soon as Liu Ji left, he hugged his wife.